The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network or anyone affiliated. There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
This is where the real freaks hang out, alright, yeah.
All right. And we are live on Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. And I got some people in the chat room right off the bat, first telling me, oh, it sounds great. And now it's, oh, it sounds bad. So I don't know what the fuck, is going on. But Oh man.
They should
Oh.
start the show off with an
Oh.
upload right away.
Yeah. Listen on TuneIn. Don't listen on the Spreaker because my bandwidth sucks, and TuneIn will correct that. Spreaker will not. So or TalkStream Live. I find TuneIn is the best. You can still go in the Spreaker chat room, just listen to it off TuneIn, and everything will be fine. So I don't know. Could be just aliens trying. It's probably just
temporary
aliens.
though, right?
You know.
Right, Wolfman?
It's probably just a figment of your imagination.
What? Why are you broadcasting out of a motel room?
Oh,
Between
because
places?
I'm actually in the process of moving, and I couldn't get my internet hooked up quick enough. So I just went and booked a motel room so that I had internet. And every show I have to reset everything up. It's a lot of work.
Well, at least you're here.
Yeah, man. I'm a radio wave warrior. I don't give up.
Nope. We got it just in the nick of time too. I hope it's better than last night. Hopefully.
Well, I find when a show starts good, then it just I'm better. If it starts bad, it sets me off, and
You get a little derailed.
I get derailed and negative.
You did good though last night.
I don't give up, and I try to sound positive.
That was a good show. You did. It was great.
Yeah, I booked the hotel room to do my internet show, and that's why you guys need to give me some donations, because I'm moving, and I really need them now. I really need some donations now, because this is costing me big time. Yeah. Anyone that can go to Monster Castle Paranormal, and I don't care if you throw me $5 or something, I can really use it today. No shit. I wouldn't ask. Yeah, much appreciated.
Nope.
Hey, what's new, Darren? Anything new?
There was something I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you sound fine. I did some really magical things with 2 computers, and I got this working.
I was going to talk about Travis Walden's talk the other day. They went back up to the site where the UFO was, and all the trees had grown about as fast as any other whole forest. And it burnt down, so they cut the trees in half, and I hope I put a picture on 47 Talk on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it shows the moment that spacecraft was there, the tree rings were 3 times as big as they are out. It's really cool. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
I don't know exactly why. Is it radiation? Pine trees for some reason.
Man, just when this is getting good, now your Skype is starting to get shit. Just when the story's getting good. What are you doing different over there? Anything?
That happened today too.
Okay, I'm gonna try something.
I'm talking about Travis Walton and then.
Yeah, as soon as you started talking, okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hang up on you and then call me right back. Okay. All right. You hear me?
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna hang up on you right now and call me right back, and then it should fix it. In the meantime, our guest tonight is a ghost professor. And an expert and an investigator on the paranormal, and specializing in shapeshifters and spirits from beyond. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can get him in here. Okay, here comes Darren back. Let's let Darren finish what he was saying first, and then we'll introduce the guest.
Radio check. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, you sound great now.
Hello.
Ophidian.
Hello.
Yeah, you sound great. Hello, Darren? Darren, we can hear you.
Okay. I can barely hear you, but
Strange.
you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
I'm having trouble hearing you, but you can hear me fine. Okay. Anyways, the trees, they went to the exact location of where the UFO went, and all those trees that were around in a ring around that ship have all just grown like crazy since that day. Exact days where the ring started growing 3 times as fast. It's really cool. And they're all trying to figure it out.
So what you're saying is where
It might be radiation.
where the thing abducted him and where that radiation field hit him and hurt him, the trees are all growing bigger and taller than everything else around it. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, so like yes, and then when there was a forest fire just a couple of years ago, and so the trees died, so they cut them, they cut them so that you could see the rings and start growing, and that is the exact time that happened.
That is freaky.
It's really cool. I know. So
Yeah.
that was something new I learned.
You were warbling. That's what Eric says. You're warbling.
Oh boy.
But Eric, don't listen on
It's amazing how
Spreaker.
he'll slow your
Seriously,
voice down.
when I'm broadcasting with a low bandwidth like this, it's better to use TuneIn. It will sound way better if you switch over to TuneIn to listen to, or just go to TuneIn and go to KTLKTheFringe.fm. All right, can you dig it? This is the Wolf Man. That's a cool story, though, Darren. Even though we are having trouble with Skype, the story came through either way, and it's really groovy. So the trees. What about the rings? I couldn't quite understand what you said about the rings in the trees when they cut them.
Well, when you look at a tree and you can. Right. Well, where you start in the middle, and then every year it goes. You understand? How a tree grows.
Yeah. I'm gonna try boosting.
Hello?
I'm just trying to boost you up a little bit here because you're.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, they were saplings when he was there, or there were small trees, and they're maybe 10 years old. So there's like 10 rings that are fairly close together, and then right when it happened, if you look at the outside of the cut, then the rings started growing. The trees started growing way faster, so the rings are wider. From the moment that craft landed, and I added a picture there, and you can check it out, and it'll show you the exact date, of the abduction and when it happened on the tree, and then beyond that. It's crazy. It's really neat.
Yeah, it's still.
Got it?
Yeah.
Get the picture.
I get the picture,
Did you
man.
see the picture?
Yeah, if you look on hashtag 47talk, you can see the
Did you
picture.
get the picture?
Yeah. Hashtag 47talk on Twitter.
Oh, you see the tree and how
Yeah. I see it now.
you see the inner part of the tree, like so that's the tree that was there. And got abducted.
I'm blowing it
and
up.
then like the ring in the middle.
I'm waiting for it to blow up.
Blowing what?
I think I know what's wrong. I think I got to close that window right there. I won't be able to look at the pictures, that's all. I think that's what's screwing you. I'm going to try closing that. Everyone else can look at the pictures. Oh, see? As soon as I close that window, it's better, isn't it?
I think so, a little bit. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to not use any internet except for the Skype if you can help
That worked. That worked. I figured it out. See, because it cuts. It. What I'm doing is I'm allowing the computer to use all of its CPU power to compensate for the bad bandwidth, and it works. And now it's just an experiment, and so I come up with this on my own, and it works. Just because.
All right.
I did it. Everybody, can you dig it? All right. I'm wax panel out yet. What the hell's wrong
Let's not start slapping each other on the backs too quick. You never know with Skype. Should we introduce our guest?
Yes, but wait till I roll the intro. Hang on
Okay.
a second here. I got a groovy guest intro jingle here. If I can get this going. Here we go. John Kachuba, you are the next guest on Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. And come on down.
I'm down, man.
Dig it. Down and groovy. This is the Ghost Professor himself, folks. I don't know if you've ever heard him before. This is going to be a good show.
Have you been on other shows before, Ghost Professor?
Hang on a sec. People are having trouble finding us on TuneIn Radio. You can find us by going to thefringe.fm, search that, or you can search Monster Castle Paranormal. There's two ways to listen to us on TuneIn. So there you go. And also, I don't have a post office box number. We don't have that in Canada. The only way you can donate is using the I got PayPal on the website, monstercastleparanormal.com. Okay, sorry for interrupting, guys.
That's okay. Everyone has to take a drink now, though.
Oh, yeah. Every time I interrupt, it is time to have a drink of your alcoholic beverage, folks.
John, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, good. Have you been on any other shows before? You wrote 5 books. I'm sure you have, huh?
Yeah. My first book came out in 2003. So that's, like 14 years ago. And I've been on scores of podcasts and radio shows. And like Wolfman, I've done some from motel rooms too.
All right. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New England. I grew up in Connecticut. I live in Cincinnati now, and I've been in Ohio for probably 25 years at this point.
Are there more ghosts in New England or Ohio?
I got that question a few times, and the most people expect is to say New England because, it was settled in the 17th century and all that. And yeah, there's a lot of history in New England, but I'll tell you, I've written 2 books about Ohio, and there's a lot out here in the Midwest. And I mean, there's a lot anywhere if you start looking at it, but the Midwest has a pretty rich ghost history, I think. And I'm not really sure why it seems to be so centered here, but there seems to be a lot of it.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. I wonder if it's
I have
Native
2
Americans.
books about Ohio, and I have one about Illinois. And then the same publisher that I worked with for those books brought out one for Indiana, and there's one for Kentucky, so one for Michigan. So, there's a lot out here.
That's cool. So your books are about different locations and just ghost stories? What are the names of your books?
Yeah, each one of the books I wrote, there was a series that came out from the publisher at the time that brought them out originally. It was called Emmis Publishing. And the series was called America's Haunted Road Trip. And the idea was just to do Midwest states, but the books became so popular that we started doing other states in the United States. And so I wrote some of the books for the series. I wrote, like I said, the 2 Ohio books and the Illinois book. But then I also was the editor for the rest of the series. So I hired writers in different states to write about their particular state using the same kind of formula that I did. And what that meant was that each one of the writers had to physically go to these locations, spend as much time as they could there themselves, and then write about it. So they're writing from a first-person perspective, or they're talking to people that had experiences at these locations. So they're not just stories, pulled off the internet or something like that. All the writers of the series, myself included, did all the investigation firsthand. So
that's great.
It's really, it's a cool series because it's all, like I say, it's all firsthand observation, And my tendency, my own style is, I always inject a little humor in my stuff too. So you get some nice stories.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you get a little joke. Yeah, exactly.
You got to do that. Yeah. Like that's our specialty on this show is a little bit of paranormal and mix a little bit of comedy in with it, and there you go.
Yeah, you got it.
It's I'm an experiencer too, but that works for me. I joke about myself. You got to be able to make fun of yourself, and if you can't do that, don't bother making fun of other people, because that just turns you into I know there's many words for it, but
I hear you. I hear all those words.
John, what made you first interested in ghosts? Did you see one, or what was the first thing that happened to you that made you interested in it?
Yeah, as I said, I grew up in Connecticut, and I've always been interested in history. In fact, I write a lot of stuff. I mean, I have a historical novel that came out last year, so I write a lot of different things. But I've always been interested in history, and as I've studied history, you always get some of the let's call it folklore. You get some of the tall tales, and you get ghost stories and all that. And the ghost stories just always grab my attention. And growing up in Connecticut, I had the occasion to meet Ed and Lorraine Warren, who, probably a lot of your audience and you guys might know, in the United States, we sort of call them the godfather and godmother of American ghost hunting. They're the ones that investigated the Amityville horror in New York, which, the movie was out and the book was out. So I had a chance to meet them.
You are lucky, sir, to meet them.
Yeah, well, I lived in the same town for a couple of years, and they invited me to their house one time, and I went up there and had a chance to sit down and talk to them. In fact, in one of my books called Ghost Hunters, I have a chapter about the Warrens, and I have two different interviews that I did with them. One early on when Ed Warren was still with us, and then the second one, he was still alive. He had suffered a major stroke, and that interview occurred probably just about a month before he passed away. So they're great interviews, though, because they take place in their home. You actually see what their house is like, and it's pretty cool, I thought. So they kind of turned me on to things. What happened was, I was in a place in Connecticut that's called, it's nicknamed Dudleytown, and it's an old 18th century settlement up on a mountain in Connecticut that is now nothing but just old, cellar holes and wells and stuff like that. It's all grown over. But the nickname for the place is called Dark Entry, which is a cool name, isn't it? Dark Entry. You got to love that.
There's a Bauhaus. Remember that band Bauhaus? They got a song called Dark Entries.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I ended up writing a novella called Dark Entry based on that. But the story was that the people that lived in this community, over a century or so, there was a rash of sort of people going crazy and committing suicide and committing murders, and it was nuts. And some people think that there was actually some environmental poisoning that actually created this, but other people said no, it's the result of an old Native American curse on the area. So it was just really rich in all these kinds of ghost stories. So I went up there, and I was just checking it out for the historical reasons. I didn't know much about the ghost stuff, and I was taking pictures. And this was the day, I'll give you an idea how old I am. I was using a camera, and my camera had something inside it they call film. Did you ever hear of film?
I remember.
Yeah, and you take this stuff and you wind it on what they call a spool in your camera. It was
that
like
black
weird,
sticky stuff, and you put it in
it
a
was
dark
weird
room.
stuff. Anyway, so I was taking these pictures, and when I got them back from the from the developer, I was taking a look at one of these cellar holes, and it's all overgrown with weeds and trees and stuff like that. And as I'm looking at this thing, I'm thinking, wow, that looks like a face. It's like a little face looking at me out of the wall, right? So I enlarged the photo, and I thought, yeah, as I enlarge it, I'm going to discover that it was a bunch of leaves together that looked like a face, or something like that. So I enlarged it; it looked more like a face. I enlarged it again.
Whoa,
it
what does that
like
remind you of, Darren?
It just kept getting to be more of a face. It wasn't leaves. So I got these photos, and I called the Warrens. This is the first time. I'd never met them before. And I called them, and I introduced myself on the phone and said, hey, I was up at Dudleytown. I said, I know that you two have been up there several times. And I got some really cool pictures, and I'd like you to take a look at them, if you wouldn't mind. And they were so generous and so courteous. And they said, "Oh yeah, why don't you bring them over to our house? We'd love to take a look at it." Okay, so I did, and I showed them these photos, and they said, "Oh man, yeah, that's a face. You've got an anomaly there, And then they proceeded to take out this album of 100 or more photos they had taken at Dudleytown over the years, and they had all kinds of mists and red blobs and all kinds of anomalies in their photos. So that was the first time I got to meet them. And they really kind of triggered my interest more in the paranormal. Like I said, I always had an interest in the ghost stories and everything. But they pushed me more in thinking about it in terms of not just folklore or folk tales, but maybe actual events, actual happenings, actual paranormal events. So I got more interested in that way and studied more. So the question was, how did I get started? It was a long way around, but I credit the Warrens with getting me into it.
Aren't the Warrens the one that are in the Annabelle story and all the new movies and stuff?
Oh yeah,
that's correct.
Conjuring.
Yeah,
The Conjuring. You mean?
Yeah. Did you see the doll?
Well, I won't say much about the movie, but yes, they are featured. Well, there's actors and actresses playing their roles in those movies. Yeah, right.
Was there a real?
They
doll?
had at their home. They had at their house in the backyard. They had this barn, and in the barn they had all kinds of objects that they had accumulated over the years. Possessed things, tulpas, things like that. They had actually the Annabelle doll was in there and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Can you get into specifics? What else is in there? I'm just dying to know. My daughter loves those movies. It looked like they had so much
remember,
stuff.
but it was certainly like the doll, and there was other things like that. Most of what they had in there were just objects that they believed at one time, in some case that they were working with, either had like a spirit attached to it, or as I mentioned, a tulpa, which I don't know if your audience knows what that is, but basically it's something that's created just out of whole cloth. It's been said that like monks in Tibet, places like that, can meditate for years and years and years, over and over and over on a particular image, a particular idea of a being, and that's simply through their meditation that they can bring that being into existence, which is pretty incredible. So that's what a tulpa is.
But it's made out of cloth?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a thought brought to reality.
Isn't that they're like an elf or gnome that originates in Denmark? A tulpa, or am I mixed up with something?
Well, I don't know.
That's a tompe. That's a tompe. I'm thinking of something else. A tulpa, I'm not really sure.
Tulpa.
So where does that originate from?
As far as I know, the origination is like in the Himalayas among the Tibetans and Tibet and Nepal, places like that.
I've heard it before, but I've always wondered what that is, and I think I had it mixed up with something else. But,
well, as a daily
John, what
practice,
is the
I
real-
meditate, but 20 minutes, half an hour a day. These are people that are in meditation, and with one idea in mind, one thought in mind, which is pretty incredible if you can do this, and they say that they have brought into existence, brought into reality that thought. So that's pretty incredible, which just gives you an idea of the power of the mind and what our brain can do, and we don't know half the things our brain is capable of doing.
Everybody in the chat room saying it's all pareidolia, and you can see faces. You can make faces out of anything from toast to clouds. But you know what? One time when I was a kid, I seen this
Right.
reminds me of a time when my brother and I witnessed the tree leaves actually bend and take shape into a very detailed sculpture, basically of a face, very detailed. You could see the mouth moving and the lips moving, eyes opening and closing. It was not pareidolia. It was definitely not.
Well, that's
pareidolia.
why that was my first thought. When I had that photo years ago. I mean, I said, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it looks that way, but yeah, it's just leaves laying exactly right and looking that way, and the shadows and everything else. But as I kept enlarging it, instead of becoming more ambiguous or amorphous and saying, oh yeah, it is just leaves, no, it was taking more definition, which was exactly the opposite of what I expected it to do.
So that was the first thing that got you started. Like, wow, I'm into this. Is that
Yeah.
the first thing that happened?
Yeah.
Wow. What did the
Yeah, I would say
Annabelle
so.
doll look like?
What's that?
What did the Annabelle doll look like in reality?
It looks sort of like kind of like a Raggedy Ann doll, but it doesn't have like that red kind of hair and stuff. But it's creepy. I mean, I think there's actual photos of it on the internet. I mean, I think there's real photos of it. I'm pretty sure I've seen some on there.
Well, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that
it's a
our
weird looking
listeners
doll.
could.
I mean, I've got a bunch of little grandkids, and some of them are girls, and I wouldn't give any one of them a doll that looked like that.
I'm pretty sure that somebody in the chat room or on hashtag 47talk, one of our listeners could probably pull a picture of that and put it on there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen it before. It is creepy.
So, the Warrens' nephew is Johnny Zaffis, and he's been on TV with his show and everything, and he too has a little museum of artifacts that he's collected in his investigations that have had spirit attachments or whatever too. He also lives in Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
Did the Warrens have any children?
I don't think so. I should know that, but I don't think they did. Johnny was their nephew. I think they were childless. I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah.
But they were really nice people.
They were. Lorraine, of course, is still alive, so I don't want to talk about her in the past tense. They were very nice. Lorraine was kind of like a school marm, as they say, like this sweet little old lady who was very nice, very polite, very cordial. Ed was different. Ed was a big burly guy when he was healthy, a big husky burly guy, but really nice. They're both very nice people. Their approach to the paranormal, though, was a little bit different than mine, in the sense that they were both very devout Catholics. And for them, the paranormal always had a strong religious aspect to it. It wasn't just like, okay, here's a ghost in the house and it's causing problems, we need to get rid of it or whatever. It was more like, no, this is
More like demons.
a demon, a demonic spirit, with the devil. Yeah, they were more like that. I mean, certainly they had cases that they would say, no, it's a ghost, but they seem to really be looking more at the aspect of good versus evil, God versus the devil. That was pretty much the basis for how they would proceed in investigations, which is not the way I think, but that's the way they thought.
So how long after you saw the face at the, what was the place called? Dudley?
Well, it's called Dudleytown. It was named after the family that settled there in the 18th century were the Dudleys. And they were descended from the Dudleys in England. I forgot which one it was, but the Dudleys in England had a pretty bad history in terms of a lot of them were executed by various kings.
So, yeah.
So people thought that the family had settled
Oh,
at
no.
the same time,
Here
there
it
were Native
goes.
American tribes there, and one of their leaders was
Hold on a
killed.
sec.
So they think that may have been also
John, we have
sort of a second
we have
curse.
Oh, man. I hate this hotel room. I'm going to blow it up, man. That's it. I'm going to blow this friggin' place right up. I think.
Why don't you play a song and reconnect with him?
Oh, is it? Maybe I should do that. Yeah, because you started out really clear, and now it's, I don't know. Give John.
We had a little Skype issues
Yes.
about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It might.
I'm here.
Yeah, it sounds fine now. If it keeps doing it though, I'll quit the Skype and then I'll reopen it, and it should fix that.
So we kind of missed about the American Indians in the Dudley. It was kind of not coming through. Could you repeat that?
Really? Yeah, sure. So, so the Dudley family that came, I don't know how much you heard, but the Dudleys back in England had a bad history with various monarchs, and a couple of them ended up with their heads on the chopping block. So people said that the family had some curse laid on them, which apparently followed them to New England when they settled. But it was also a Native American chieftain that apparently was killed in that area, and whether it was by a Dudley or not, nobody really knows. But apparently they say, well, that's also a curse on the area because of that. So, they're cursed twice, I guess.
The double curse area. Did you get any other pictures besides the one? Or did you write a book
Is
on
what?
that? Or
I didn't get that question.
He was asking if you got any other pictures besides that one.
Oh, no, not from Dudleytown. In fact, I haven't been back up there since that time. So, no.
Yeah, somebody.
so
had,
what was your
Go ahead.
what was
Dude.
the next thing you got interested in after that? That started you on your way. What did you look into then? And
I mean, I just kept doing a lot of reading about different locations and things like that. And when I came out to Ohio, I was basically approached by an editor who was thinking about some series that he wanted to do for their publishing house. And he had known my writing from some other things that I had done. And we talked about some ideas, and I said, well, I'm really interested in ghosts. And he said, whoa, ghosts? We hadn't thought about that. He said, the ghosts in Ohio? I said, well, why don't I find out? So it was that simple. And so basically he said, well, go ahead. So, I had a contract to start looking for ghosts in Ohio. So I just started doing that. And it took off from that point. Like I said, there were 2 books in Ohio, a book in Illinois, a book called
how do you
Ghost
start-
Hunters.
where did you first go? How'd you start? Did you start the library, or how'd you do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I did some of the basic, really easy stuff. Go on the internet and do top haunted places in Ohio, something dumb like that. Because I wanted to at least get a start somewhere. And quite honestly, I didn't know where to go. So I did that to find out some common places. And I went to these places. But what I found out was that I went to them and I would start talking to people and interviewing people in the area or people at that location. And they would always point me somewhere else. They'd say, yeah, okay, this is great. But do you know about this place? Do you know about the bar down the street? Or do you know
cool.
about that, So I would go to those places. And then I also connected with a lot of different ghost, paranormal research groups in Ohio. I mean, I'd look those up and I'd just send emails to folks and say, hey, what's going on? What are you looking at? And so they'd invite me a lot of times to go to different locations. And, so I did investigations with a lot of different groups because I would be there with them. They'd invite me to go to a place, and so I'd go. So what I tried to do in my books was I tried to write about places that were not as well known, perhaps, as others.
Yeah.
So you would take it, you'd interview somebody and then just write down their story.
Yeah, because what I would do is, I'd go to a place. I'll give you an example. I would go to, let's say, a haunted hotel.
First, before you went to the haunted hotel, though, didn't you usually go there and then set up some leaves to look like a face?
Exactly. Oh,
yeah,
man,
I figured it out.
You found out how
I'm on it. I'm on you, man.
Yeah, and I'd wear a sheet too.
Just,
in case
that would
things
get
got
me.
wrong.
That would fool me. I'll bet you a-hole skeptic would run away screaming.
But this is America, so I'd make sure that the sheet didn't have like a pointy head to it, so I don't want to get
I never
confused.
put sheet on my head.
But
I would never put sheet on my head.
Stephen King wrote, I guess it was a short story about a hotel room. I forgot what it was called, but it was the title was The Room Number, and it became a movie. Man, I can't think of what that was, what the name of that movie was. Anyway, in that movie, it was about a writer who writes ghost stuff. And he goes to a hotel, and he checks in at the hotel, and he says, what room is the haunted room? And the clerk says, oh, that's number 4. So he says, okay, put me up in number 4. And he stays there all night. That was me. That was exactly what I would do. So I'd go to a place like that, like a haunted hotel, ask if there was a haunted room. And if they said yes, I'd say, okay, can I stay there? And if it was free, they'd say yes. So I'd stay in the haunted room overnight, whatever, do a little investigation, just stay there, just be there. And then I'd write about all that. But then in addition to my experiences or whatever happened or didn't happen, I would also talk to like the desk clerk, the security guard, the housekeepers, if there was a maintenance guy, anybody that worked there, and say, hey, what have you experienced? Have you seen anything? And so I get all their stories as well as whatever, happened or what didn't happen. So it's pretty cool because it came right from the people that are there, because I was doing these things relatively short term. I mean, I couldn't stay at the hotel for a week or something. So I'd be there like one night. Well, maybe I'd be lucky the people that are there all the time and get there. So I think, well,
Can you tell us a few of the scariest stories you found from people that are in your first book?
Yeah. There was a hotel here in Cincinnati, and it was called the Vernon Manor, which now the building is still there, but it's now been taken over by a hospital, so it's no longer open to the public. But at the time that I was writing about it, it was still a hotel. It was open to the public. Years ago, the Beatles stayed there. They actually toured Cincinnati, and they stayed at the hotel. So they have the suite where the Beatles stayed has all this Beatlemania stuff in it that they kept there. It's a cool place. Anyway, so one of the stories that came out of that was that I got this from a guy who was a security guard, and he said that he was notified. Somebody called down and said that they heard what sounded like somebody screaming in one of the rooms upstairs. So, of course, he comes up to check it out, and sure enough, he goes on and he hears like this screaming coming from one of the rooms, and he's there. He listens to it, and he has a key. And he gets in there. He calls the desk. He says, there's somebody screaming up here, but I'm going to go in, So he grabs his key. He opens the door. And the screaming stops immediately and there's nothing in there. But the door is all scratched up on the inside, right?
Oh.
And it hadn't been before. But there was nobody in the room.
Yeah. I
That's
like
cool.
that. I like that. Cool.
Now, there was a story that there was a woman who committed suicide. I don't know if it was exactly that room or one nearby, but it was on that same floor. And it was years ago when she did it, but she jumped out a window and killed herself, which to me wouldn't explain necessarily screaming and scratching on the door, but that was a pretty cool story anyway.
I dig that story, man.
Yeah,
Wasn't there
yeah.
a video one time on YouTube about a security guard that went up and there was screaming in this
I
room?
saw
and
that. Yeah, I saw
The
that
car-
one. And when he
That was
went in, didn't he say,
scary.
like, wasn't all the furniture piled up or something like that?
Yeah, the
or-
carpet was ripped up and everything, and
Yeah.
nobody was in
Yeah.
there.
I don't know if that's
Yeah,
been
that's-
debunked or not, though. I thought somebody said that they figured out that was just all put together. I mean, I don't know. It looked great. It looked real, but, just looking on YouTube, who knows?
Yeah, no kidding. It's better to do what you do, just go into the person and saw it firsthand.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the way I feel. Plus, you have experiences too. I mean, there was a place up in Toledo, which I don't know how far Toledo would be from where you guys are in Ontario. I don't know Ontario very well, but I mean, Toledo's getting up to Canada.
I'm in Ontario. And also, God of Thunder says John Cusack, room 1408. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Cusack. Yep. Well, the funny thing, what I liked about that movie was that when it begins, you see him, he goes up to that room and he's sitting on a bed and he's just like bouncing a ball against the wall all night, just sitting there waiting for something to happen. And next morning he checks out and the clerk says something like, well, how'd it go? And he said, it was great. Nothing happened. And so he wrote about that because I think that, that so often that happens. Nothing happens, I've been on so many investigations overnight where you spend the entire night, someplace and you have all this gear and everything hooked up and wired and all, and you just sit there all night long in the dark and nothing happens. Then, the minute
man.
you leave, somebody will say, "You won't believe what happened when he walked out the door."
This room I'm in at this hotel here, which is the Super 8 in Guelph, Ontario. I'm not going to tell you the room number, but I will tweet it tomorrow. But I had some shadow people, and it overwhelmed me last night after the show in this room. I couldn't sleep.
Yes.
I couldn't sleep. They were just all over and just dancing. I had to turn my flashlight on and point it at the corner, and so that they would go away.
It must be following
John, I
you.
work at a hotel that's haunted. Oh, go ahead.
All hotels have got to be haunted. They got to be.
What were you asking, John?
Well, what's that?
Were you asking Wolfman a question about the shadow people?
No, I was just saying that they must be following him. That's about all I can think of.
No, that's okay.
I mean, Super 8.
We,
It's,
I work at a super old hotel, and we have a haunted room. And 2 or 3 times, people have checked out at like 4 a.m, and both times they saw the same thing. They saw
I've
an
written
old
about-
couple.
in a lot of my books, I've probably written about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different hotels just in Ohio, and mostly they're not so much Super 8. I mean, it's possible. I mean, but they're mostly older ones, that have been around for a while, a century or something like that, But
Yeah,
there's a
mine's
cool one
built
up in
1911.
There's one in Paynesville, Ohio, which is up by the Cleveland area, northeast, extreme northeast Ohio, up by the lake. And it's called Riders Inn, and it was built in 1812. It only has about 4 rooms, but it's an old place. And supposedly the ghost there is the ghost of the first innkeeper's wife, Sarah. And people have seen her, sort of float floating around in an old kind of 18th century kind of, nightgown kind of thing. So my wife and I were up there, and we were checking the place out. So I said, well, what's the worst room? What's supposed to be the haunted room? They said, oh, we call it Sarah's room. I said, okay. So my wife and I stayed up there, and it was kind of creepy because they had this old nightgown on display. It was an old antique nightgown, and they had it standing up on like this, not like a coat rack, but it was standing up that looked like a person was in it. And they had it right at the foot of the bed, So you wake up in the middle of the night and you look up and there's this thing at the foot of the bed. It's like, don't do that to me.
Yeah.
But
I
was
don't-
something was
Did you
really,
see anything?
but it was weird. We were there at a time of year, it was sort of like spring. So the place does have air conditioning, but the air conditioning wasn't on yet. It wasn't that hot. And they had shut the heat off because it wasn't that cold. So there wasn't any air running. So there wasn't the sound of air conditioning or anything like that. And the windows were all shut. So my wife and I were sleeping. And it must have been about maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 or 4, I guess it was about 3 o'clock. And we both woke up at the same time because we heard like this wind just, just like blowing through the room. And we thought, what the hell? We thought, well, air conditioning, like I said, there wasn't any air conditioning like that at all, anything like that at all. So we both got up and we could hear it and we could kind of feel it coming like from the foot of the bed, going right up like across us and, right out through the wall behind us. And it did that. And then it did it for a couple minutes and then it just stopped. And we sat there and we said, what the hell was that? And then we fell
scary.
asleep again. And it happened again a couple minutes later, woke us up again, and then it stopped again. So I didn't know what that was.
Was it cold?
And then I woke up, I got up in the morning, and
Was it
then
cold?
I noticed
Did it get cold
that there was
in
a
that room?
journal right by the bed on a nightstand. And I hadn't seen that before. Sometimes B&Bs will have like a journal and you sign in what a great time I had here, whatever. So I started flipping through this thing. And I saw maybe 4 or 5 entries where people in that room said exactly the same thing at the same time, that at 3 o'clock in the morning, they were woken up by a cold wind that blew through that room. So that was really, that was pretty cool. Because, like I said, there was
that is
nothing
neat.
moving in that room. And this wind came from,
Well, I just, when that happens, you know what I do?
what's that?
I shut the window.
Well, like I said, it was shut already. I mean, there was nothing going on there.
Sometimes window seals aren't very good though, and if it's windy outside, then you'll get a draft that comes through, and the window's shut, but you still get drafts come through.
Oh, I know. My house is almost 100 years old, and every window is like that. I mean, the curtains are blowing around right now. So. But no, I mean, that's what I mean. I've experienced this. I know what it's like, and that was not what it was.
How do you get your wife to go along with you? Is she into this too?
No, not at all. My wife has a PhD in toxicology. She's a scientist, and she's a complete skeptic. But she goes along, to travel, get to see a different place or whatever. But it's funny because she said, well, I'm a skeptic. I don't believe this stuff. She said, but when I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and things like that happen, I start to think, well, maybe science doesn't have the answer to everything.
Oh, wow.
So, and actually, for the most part, she doesn't travel with me anymore. Actually, she said, I think I'm too much of a skeptic. I think I would scare any of the spirits away. So you go by yourself.
Oh, great. So you get to spend the night by yourself in those places.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I wonder,
Yeah,
if you're looking for ghosts, it seems like, you'd see them. I wonder how many times a ghost shows itself and people just don't even notice.
Oh, yeah.
They just ignore it.
Well, or you have to be looking for something out of the ordinary. You have to be, it's like you're not going to see a UFO if you're looking at your cell phone walking down the street. You got to look around. You have to be observant for odd things.
That's exactly a point that I make a lot of times when I'm on some of these investigations that are what I would kind of call like high-tech investigations. Give you an example. We did one in a coffee house in Connecticut with a Connecticut group up there, and when they set this thing up, I mean, he had this big van and it pulled up in front of the place, and they started unloading like these huge like steamer trunks, and they opened up and they had every kind of electronic gadget you can possibly imagine. And it took them a couple hours, seriously, to wire this whole building. I mean, they had, motion detectors. They had any kind of sound detector. They had like infrared analyzers. They had cameras that they put in different locations, all kinds of stuff. And I'm thinking, they even had they had these monitors. So they set up like 4 monitors, and all night long they sat there in front of the monitor, just looking at the monitor. And I'm thinking, while you're staring at that monitor, there could be something standing right behind you that you would never notice because you're so busy with your monitor. I don't personally do like the high-tech investigations. I mean, I'll work with teams that have that kind of equipment and everything, and I'm always grateful to be invited, and I think it's cool to see that. But when I'm by myself, I'm really low tech. I go in with a camera. I use dowsing rods just to maybe get an idea where energy might be. I'm not saying that's where a ghost is or anything, but it might give me a rough area where I think an activity might be happening. And maybe like a recorder, like some kind of a digital recorder in my pocket or something. And what I'll do is I'll try to get myself, if I'm with a group, I'll try to get alone someplace in a room or somewhere. And I will just literally sit there and I will start like a meditation, like I do at home every day. And I think when I do that, I'm dropping all the barriers, sort of all the social barriers that we put up that tell you what you're allowed to see and allowed to believe. And you drop those away, and now you're sort of an open vessel for whatever might be out there. And I've had better experience that way in being more receptive, I guess, and open than more, what would I say, more probing and demanding. You know what I mean? It's
sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not a psychic or a medium. I mean, I don't claim to be. But I think we all have that ability.
You do get, once in a while, an intuitive feeling, or your hair stands up and then you see something. Do you ever get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And God of Thunder, he says that these things that I saw, I could possibly be causing them to myself somehow, but they cause you to feel fear. And I bet they did nothing to not make you afraid. They probably feed on your fear. It's not good. I'd have to agree. Most of these shadow beings, shadow creatures, are there to feed off your fear. I believe that's true.
I'm still not sure even what shadow people are. I get the question all the time.
I don't think nobody can really say what they actually are. Nobody really knows.
Right. Well, I have kind of a wacky theory that I'll lay on you, which is I've been reading a lot of quantum physics and trying to understand. When I read that stuff, I understand probably 1%, and 99% of it I'm still chewing on. But, quantum physicists talk about the idea of a multiverse, not a universe, a multiverse, with an infinite number of alternate realities existing all at one time in one place. And they wouldn't even say time because physicists don't believe time actually exists. It's crazy. I don't even, anyway, okay. So what I think could happen here is if what the physicists are saying, quantum physicists are saying is true, then it means that there are sort of different, let's say, levels of reality that are, and we're in one level. If you think of a stack of pancakes, you, me, all our voices right now as we're talking, if we're in a room together, whatever, we're on one level. There's levels below us. There's levels above us. There's levels to the right of us, to the left of us. And maybe under the right circumstances, and I don't know what those would be, but it might be possible that our reality, our level of existence might bump up, for lack of a better word, to another one. And so sort of create a like a portal maybe between these realities. So we get a glimpse into that reality. And maybe what we see is shadow people or a ghost or whatever. And then for all we know, on their side, maybe they're saying the same thing. They're looking at us and saying, is that a shadow person? Is that a ghost? What is that? And these things happen quickly, a couple of seconds maybe.
I don't know. They seem to know exactly how to scare the crap out of you, and I think they see you and they know what you are. I think they're from a dimension where they can see ours, but we can't really see theirs very well. Once in a while we get a glimpse of it, but I think they got the upper hand on us on this one, I think. I don't know. But we're going to go to break right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I am going to play something that we mentioned earlier. This is Bauhaus, Dark Entries, everyone. Dig it all right. Let's hear this groovy old rock and roll. Twisted.
Take it down my chili pie.
Oh, groovy, man, groovy. Dig it, I dig it. I am the Wolf Man. And now we are going to go give some Jeff the Gray's got something, I think, here. Hang on. We got to hear from Jeff the Gray. Even if he's not here, we still got to hear from him, right? Here we go. Jeff the Gray.
This is Jeff the Gray, co-host of Monster Castle Paranormal Radio on the KTLK Digital Broadcasting Network, thefringe.fm.
This is the Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show. We explore the paranormal phenomenon with researchers and skeptics from all walks of life and beyond. Fridays and Saturdays, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, on KTLK Digital Broadcasting Network, thefringe.fm. Visit our website at monstercastleparanormal.com.
All right. Thank you, Jeff the Gray. And now we're going to go back to this... I think we're going to, pretty soon, I'd like to, because are you still only staying for 2 hours, sir? John?
Yes.
Okay, then.
Oh.
Then can we possibly switch to the shapeshifters right now? That's why I'm not playing so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah, because that's why I'm not playing so much music right now in the show, because I know he only has 2 hours, so I want to go right into a whole hour of talk about shapeshifters, if we could. And maybe get a little more skeptical. I was being a bit skeptical there, Stabs.
That's how I was gonna. Stabby is our favorite chatter in the chat room, and he talks about how so many people died in the soils in France and Europe. Shouldn't there be more ghosts in those areas? Have you found that to be the case, or does that not matter, John?
Well, I haven't really done much ghost hunting in France, but I think the whole issue is what is a ghost, and why are they here? Because everybody dies, right? I mean, everybody dies. Over the history of the world, there's been billions and billions and billions of people that have died, but we don't see billions and billions of ghosts. So my feeling is that there is some other realm. I don't know how else to talk about it. We talked about other dimensions before, and I believe that there is something eternal about each of us. And I don't mean that necessarily in a religious sense. I mean it more in a scientific sense. When I think of Einstein's theory of relativity, that everything is energy, and that you can't destroy or create energy, but it transforms from one form into another. So is it possible that what little bit of energy is us goes on to some other dimension? Okay, so why is our kind of left behind in a sense, where other people say, hey, I saw a spirit of my grandfather yesterday? And I think that there is some connection, there is some hold that keeps us there, that keeps us sort of tethered. And I think part of that might even be caused by us who are left behind, in the sense that I think there is some people that maybe even act as like a physical hold in a way, so that when somebody dies, you might still be connected to that person, or they might still be connected to you, and so are
they're
still
not
there.
letting you go, or we're not letting them go.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's something to, especially when you're talking about like family members and everything else like that. And the reason why I mention that is because so often when I hear stories from people about ghosts, I would say that at least half, if not more, have to do with family members. Somebody will say to me, oh, my Uncle Frank, close to my uncle, he died 2 years ago. And then one day I came into the house, and there was Uncle Frank sitting on the couch smoking his favorite pipe. He kind of looked at me and smiled, and then he was gone. And I never saw him again.
Even if it looks like your uncle,
I hear those kinds of stories all the time.
Even if you see something that looks like a family member, that doesn't mean that's what it is.
That's true.
So,
That's absolutely
these
true.
these things like to mimic other things. Like a lot of times, like even in exorcisms, the entity will emulate voices of loved ones to the priest and say things
Right.
that nobody else would know except for that person. But these entities are able to do it somehow. And I know it's not very, I know that's pretty way out there for some of you folks, but if you ever experienced a real exorcism, these kind of things actually really happen. That's how they determine whether it is a real possession or not.
Right. I think I think that's true. That does happen. But I don't think that negates, the other possibility as well. I mean, I think that can happen, but I think in addition to that, I think there are other bonds that are positive bonds. I think bonds of family and of love relationships. I think they go beyond as well too. And I do think it's possible. Call it wish fulfillment, maybe, and it could be that. I mean, it could be very simply that this guy walks into his house and sees his Uncle Frank there, and maybe Uncle Frank isn't really there. Maybe sees him, a hallucination, if you want to call it that. But if other people see Uncle Frank too, then you got something else going on.
My brother's wife, when her grandma died, I don't think she really believed in God or in afterlife or anything, but she was super close to her grandma. And it was like 2 days after she passed away, and all of a sudden she woke up and her grandma was to bed, and she said, I'm okay. I just wanted you to know I have to go now. And ever since then, she's never had any doubt anymore that there's something after death. She's been at peace about it. It's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah, and exactly those same words that you just said, I mean, that's what people tell me. They say that whoever it was they saw, and a loved one, will say something like that, something reassuring, like, hey, it's okay, don't worry, I'm in a good place, I'm happy now, whatever, which reassures the person who is grieving. And then it's not uncommon for them to say, and I never saw him again. It was like the one time, and now I know, now I understand.
That was enough.
And that's what they came for.
Yeah, just that one time. That was enough for her. She thinks about it all the time, too. Should we get to the shapeshifters? How did you get into shapeshifters? I know you're writing a new book on shapeshifting. How did you first get into shapeshifting? Well, first of all, what is a shapeshifter?
Well, when I'm talking about shapeshifters, what I'm talking about are, well, let me back up a little bit on that. First of all, I'm doing research on the book now, and it's due to the publisher in December. It'll be published next year. And shapeshifting just seemed to me kind of the next natural extension from ghosts in a way. I started reading about, I did a lot of research on ghosts around the world, not just in America. And I started thought that some ghost stories are considerably different in different countries and differ a lot from America. One thing I found was, for instance, looking at some Asian countries, especially like Japan, China, Vietnam, Thailand, that a tradition that they have a lot when you read about ghosts are ghosts then transforming into something else. Ghost shapeshifters, not a person, not a living person changing into a wolf like a werewolf or something like that. Or, if you think about Dracula, the old movies, changing into a bat and flying out the window, No,
yeah.
They talk about ghosts coming back and shifting frequently into somebody they knew, maybe an animal, more like a human being, but some, either a stranger or somebody like a family member or something like that. So I became intrigued by that kind of idea. of Shapeshifter. So the book is Shapeshifters, and it's subtitled a popular history, a cultural history. I'm sorry, I didn't know to name my own book. Great, a cultural
That's your
history.
new one. Yeah. We'll give you a pass
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, okay. It's late, you know. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the whole idea of shapeshifting from Neolithic times. You can go look at cave paintings in France and Spain and some other places in Europe, and you will see that there are drawings of people hunting animals, and that the hunters frequently look like these paintings, like that they might be wearing like a mask or something that looks like an animal. In other words, the hunters themselves were trying to take on the appearance of the animal they were hunting. Now, you know, anybody that's a hunter would say, well, yeah, because you'd kind of be like camouflage, you'd blend in. And that's true. That's a pragmatic reason. But there's also theories that, you know, through shamanism and rituals and everything else, that these hunters would actually believe that they were not just taking on the appearance of an animal, but becoming that animal as well, which would move them right into the herd and allow them to have the strength, the agility, whatever, of their prey, and then allow them to kill it. So it goes way back to those days. And then
wait a minute. I've got
Yeah.
a comment. Is that similar to like when people think they can go invisible and then they end up walking down the street naked?
Well, you know, I did that once and it didn't work. So
Me too.
Yeah,
I tried it as well.
I don't know about that, Wolfman.
Oh, it's fun. Until
It'd be tough to do that in Canada.
until you wake up and somebody's throwing a blanket around you, and you wonder what the fuck am I doing out here naked?
Yeah. As they say, yeah, been there, done that. Yeah. But so
It
I'm
always
looking at,
happens
you know,
in
from way
hotel
back up
rooms.
to,
It always happens in hotel rooms. Yeah.
Sandra better keep a belt around you tonight or something.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't go out and do it again.
I'm not drinking heavily anymore.
John, you know what that reminds me of is, have you ever seen the show Going Tribal?
I have.
I know.
Yeah, the guy goes down to South America and he goes to all these little tribes, and most of them use hallucinogenics for their religion. And at
Right.
one point he was really, really out there. He was on whatever drug they had. You know, there's so many different ones down there.
Oh, man. Excuse
Yeah.
me, man.
And
Well,
he was,
and there's
he goes,
some of
I
the
know-
anthropologists that have studied these hunters also believe that they may have actually used hallucinogens to get them going out there to make them feel that they were animals, you know, themselves.
well, it's like he knew what animals everybody was, and they would say that that's the animal that they were. And he was freaking out. He goes, I know that he's a person right now, but to me he looks like, I forget what it was. It was some kind of animal, a puma or something.
I know.
He goes, "But he
White
looks like a
albino
puma
porcupine.
right now."
Had to be a white albino
But it was so
porcupine.
weird.
Yes.
They
Indeed.
all knew what each other were, and they all saw each other as the spirit animal.
Okay, but let's.
Mm-hmm.
What about like these sightings of actual like wolf men or whatever that are like they have the head of a wolf, but they're walking on 2 feet and they have fingers and toes. You know, they're not like they're claws on them, but they're more like hands and feet than. But they got the head of a wolf. These have been
Is that
sighted,
what-
these have been sighted all over the world, right? What do you think of those things, John?
Yeah, well, and I don't know what to make of them yet. I mean, I'm still doing research on this, but you're right. I came across it's a little bit different story, but I came across a news report from South Africa that was, I guess, 2015, I think, and talked about this guy who was the local shaman, and he was an old guy, and that he died, and people that were with him when he died said that they saw him die. They knew he was dead. And then the next thing you know, they said he had transformed into a pig and ran off into the woods. And this thing was in the news. I mean, it was in the newspaper. Like, oh yeah, shaman turns into a pig and runs into the woods, you know. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of, like, you mentioned people with a wolf head and whatever. And I think of, like, some of the Native American, the Navajo, for instance, with their skinwalkers.
And people people have also seen them, their faces change into an animal head. And like their eyes start glowing red, apparently, and then they start changing shape. Right.
So I don't have an opinion on that at this point, because I don't know what that's about.
I heard that from the Skinwalker Ranch, a report of this, that was like, that's where I heard that. Their eyes glowed red, and then their heads started changing into like wolf heads, and eventually they changed right into wolves and started running after the guy that saw it.
Yeah. Right. I've heard tales of that from some of the Navajo reservations of, something like that, running along with a car, 50 miles an hour, keeping up with a car.
Yeah, this is what I've heard this too. And where did you hear that from? Was that a story from Alaska by any chance?
The ones I had heard were from actual Navajo, Arizona, Navajo area.
Okay, I heard a similar
Four
story.
Corners area.
And the creature could run alongside the car, and it was reported by actually a friend of mine on Twitter that told me this story, and she lives in Alaska. And the thing could read her mind and talk to her in her mind, and it told her that if she tells anyone about this, then it will come after her and kill her. So she was really, really scared to talk about it. But the one thing she did say is that it was running alongside the car as it was driving and reading her mind.
Wow.
Cool story, eh?
I don't know about the mind reading part, but certainly the running along the car I've heard. It happens up in, there's been stories like that from Canada too, among the Cree. The Cree up in your area, they have the same story.
Wow. That they can read your mind?
I don't know about that, but certainly the shape-shifting kind of wolf thing that can run fast and all that. I don't know about the mind-reading part.
Yeah.
How would you know if something's reading your mind or not? I guess you could.
Well, you've never experienced telepathic communication then. Because it's more like pictures. It's not like words. I don't get words, but I get pictures.
I don't think so.
Like I'll see what the other person is seeing. A brief glimpse of, say, the park and a tree and a little building beside it. So I know where they're talking or where they're saying, go there. But that's the only way I get images like that before. When I was a kid, my brother and I used to do that. We shared a sort of a telepathic communication.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it anymore.
Well, it certainly exists.
It's not as nearly as strong as it was when I was a kid.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, kids, I think, are more... I talked before about social blinders that tell you what you can say and what you can't do and all that kind of stuff. And I think kids are so... they're so open to stuff. They're so innocent. They don't know what's allowed. And so I think they're more susceptible to those kinds of sort of mental abilities. I also think they are able to probably see ghosts and things like that more than the rest of us because they don't know, they're not allowed to see it.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
If you know what I mean.
Weird, man. I think I'm transforming or something. I think I might be transforming. Ow! Ow!
Igor, save us.
Yes, Master, he has changed again. I'm sorry, I will have to take over. The Wolfman has transformed. So, Igor will be taking his place for the rest of the show. He just ran away. Would you guys like to hear a song that Igor likes to play? One of my own songs. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, definitely.
Sure.
Okay, it is called Emily's Father. It's a Monster Castle original rock. buddy. I finally get to do a
Igor,
show.
Igor,
What?
go get the Wolfman.
No.
Where'd you put him?
No, he
Go
turned
get the
into.
Wolfman.
He
Yes.
changed. He changed into something. He ran away.
Igor, go get the Wolfman.
Igor.
Go down and get him. Go get him.
Mr.
He's
Mr.
downstairs.
John Kachuba, I want to talk to him.
Okay, you can ask him a question.
Hi, Mr. John Kachuba.
Hey, Igor, what's up?
Do you have two monster pets of things I can keep in my dungeon that I can sometimes torture them a little bit?
A monster pet?
Yes, for torturing.
How about for torture?
Yes, they like to torture them a little bit.
He likes
Nah.
poodles.
I had a giant tarantula, but he ran away.
We teach poodles how to fly. We take them up to the tower and we throw them out. And one day, one of those poodles will learn how to fly. I watched the show. It's a funny game. It's a good game.
Igor, do you have any questions? Have you been listening to the show?
Yes, I like to do the lycanthropes. We would discuss the lycanthropes.
What's a lycanthrop,
Wolf.
John?
A wolf man. What would you like to talk
a
about,
wolf
Wolfman?
Is a different animal. Does it have to be a wolf?
No, I mean, lycanthropy was the name that they gave to the condition of changing into a wolf, but it extends to other animals as well, because almost every culture has some kind of a were animal. I mean, werewolves are the ones that everybody loves, you know? We all know about them. There's movies about them. There's books about them.
I heard that in India there was a monkey man with metal claws.
Metal claws?
And his eyes had goggles that glow red.
Wow.
Okay.
How
I
many
haven't-
different ones are there that
It
you've
was,
heard of, John?
It was in the year, I could look it up. Monkey Man in India. You look it up.
Igor, do you have the monkey? Is there a monkey man?
I mean,
Is there a monkey
there
man?
could be. I haven't heard of it, but like I said, I'm just starting to do research here. I know that I'm finding almost any kind of animal human transformation. You know, there's been werewolves, there's bears, jackals, crocodile men. I don't know how you call them. I don't know if you call them a were-crocodile. I don't know. There's even like were-beavers.
What
I mean,
about
really? Who
rabbits?
wants,
Is there 4-foot tall were-rabbits?
a were-rabbit? Well, I don't know. I suppose there could be.
A rabbitoid?
Be quiet down there.
Were-rabbit. Wascowee wabbit.
Can you describe what a were crocodile would look like? Do they walk on 2 feet and drag their tail? Or?
Well, you know where you hear that? You hear that more among some indigenous African people. And it makes sense. I mean, you know, crocodiles are pretty common in parts of Africa, and crocodiles are also man-eaters and, you know, fearful. Obviously, people think are evil in a sense because they eat people. The descriptions that I've heard from them are exactly that they walk on 2 feet and basically would have sort of like the head of a crocodile and arms like that, you know. But, you know, like I said, these are among African indigenous tribes. I mean, you hear a lot of these indigenous stories. And it's interesting because the animal that becomes a were animal are the ones that they fear the most, like in parts of India, especially rural areas where, not so much now, but at least where tigers used to be, very familiar. And tigers would sometimes prey on people, and kill people. So next thing you know, there's tales of tiger men, which are still told in parts of India, rural India. And so you wonder, again, if there isn't something going on here, and if it's sort of that there may not be real transformations as much as we transform sort of our fears, almost take them on. So
And
if you
these-
take on a fear of a
these should be-
tiger, maybe you become a tiger man. I
Have
don't
they
know.
described
I mean, I'm
to
looking into
you-
all this stuff.
I think
Have they
when it-
described specifically what they look like?
Tiger men?
All of
first
them.
you have to take
Oh,
the head
well,
off
I mean,
of
most of
one
them
creature.
most of them have basically not the human shape. They mostly have the animal form, but people seem to say that they can see human elements. Common is seeing sort of human elements in the face, like still somehow facially being able to recognize. Almost like if there's a person inside the animal in a way. I mean, it's not quite that way,
And
but that's not true for everywhere.
and these are seen like ghosts, right? Not real creatures.
Well,
Is
I
that
don't
correct?
know. I mean, I'm not sure how you mean that. I mean, people
No,
say that they encounter these things.
Listen,
you know?
first you cut the
But
head
I guess
of
people
one
say they
creature,
encounter ghosts as well too. So
and
So
then
they-
you attach it to the
the-
body of a man, and you sew it on.
Some
That's not how they do it.
Igor. Igor,
That's
you're
got to be
interrupting.
how they do it. Then have
Igor,
a
go
drink.
back downstairs.
Then you can
Go
have a
back.
drink. I am going to go back
Igor.
to the. I have to go. Goodbye.
Shut up. Go down. Bye.
Goodbye.
I can't stand that guy.
What's going on there, Dan? It's Ghost of Elvis Presley here.
Oh, Elvis, thank
Yeah.
God you're here.
It's the Ghost of
Oh
Elvis.
my God,
yeah.
Igor was not, he was interrupting us.
Yeah, I know.
It's
He's
terrible.
kind of rude little shit, eh? Yeah, anyway.
was.
Yeah, it's
Do you-
Ghost of
Do
Elvis.
you, have
here.
any, do you have any questions about,
Yeah, I want to know about if the dog man that like peanut butter sandwiches with banana and fry them up, you know.
they probably do like them. Hey, and they stay at the haunted Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh yeah, and one time when I was in the UK, I saw a dog man. He grabbed another dog in his mouth and jumped over a big, huge wall.
There's been stories about the UK. There was a military base in there, and I guess an RAF base, where they were seeing like this, kind of like a giant black dog, they call it, that did an amazing thing, like jumped up over an 8-foot fence, like straight up over or something. And the guys that saw it, there was a couple of RAF guys. that
Yeah,
saw
that's
it,
what
and
I'm
they
talking
said,
about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like black dog or something, black dog of something. I forgot where it was. But they were saying that was no dog. They don't know what it was, but they said that was no dog.
a dog man?
Well, could be. I mean, they described it kind of as a dog, but they also talked about it doing things that sounded more human to me. The way it moved and everything else, and the way it way it went over the fence and everything. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty creepy, man. That's a scary story. I dig that one. That's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
I don't think it was all.
no,
I don't think it was all that long ago either. I don't know exactly when that was, but I mean, we're talking probably in the last.
Y'all gotta Google that and check it out, man.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's far out, man.
Elvis, what do you think of the Pig Man?
I never seen a pig man, but I heard about that one with the axe, man. The axe thing, the goat man. Goat man. And he
Is
carries
there a goat man,
axe.
John?
A gold man?
Goat.
A goat man.
Goat man.
Yes, yes, sir.
Probably. That's all I can say. I haven't heard one yet, but like I say, I'm hearing all kinds of animals. Why not be a goat man?
There's nothing wrong with goat
Actually, if you
man.
think about
Is
it,
there Bacon
you think
Man
about some
for
of the
Elvis?
early. Think about some of the early
Except he
depictions
looked
of
like
the
more
devil.
like a sheep man because he had curly things there, like the horns, man. It looked more
Yeah,
like
the-
a sheep man, really, if you look
Sheep
at
man.
it. Sheep
Sheep
man,
man,
yeah.
goat man.
Yeah, but you should see the picture on the internet, man. It's got a picture of him. The latest one's pretty cool.
Nice. It's got the big horns like a ram,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
like a ram man.
Ram man.
Oh yeah, oh baby, yeah, ram it. Oh yeah, I'm a king, man. I'm a king. Ram that thing. Somebody gave me a cheeseburger. Oh yeah. Oh man, I'm on fire. Woo.
Okay. So, can we get? Do you want to talk more about the shapeshifters, or should we go back to like the scary ghost story? What do you think, Elvis?
I want to hear the scariest stories I ever had, man. Something
That's what I was
scares the shit
thinking.
right
I
out
want
of you,
the
man.
spookiest, scariest, most evil ghost story that you've come across by any witness.
Or any kind of paranormal experience. The scariest fucking thing, man. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, let me think about the scariest one. Well, this one I like because I experienced it myself, and I don't know if it's as scary as much as it was dramatic and something that just left an impression on me that I'll never forget. I was in Florida, in Brooksville, Florida, and there's a place called the May Springer House in Brooksville, which is now actually the Hernando County Historical Museum. And it's an old Victorian house. It used to be owned by a doctor, Springer, who practiced out of it, back in the 1870s, 1880s, whatever. And his wife died in the house giving birth to their daughter. The daughter survived. Her name was Jessie. Jessie was 3 years old. She died of, typhoid or yellow fever. I don't remember what, but something like that.
Well, poor thing, man.
And so the people at this place say that the house is haunted. Now, what happens is the house right now, like I say, it's a museum, so it's got all these antique furniture and all that stuff in it. One thing it has in it is these cast iron toys from the Victorian era, and they're under lock and key. They're kept like in a glass case and stuff. And they've had several times when the volunteers at this museum have come back in the morning after lock up at night, setting the alarms, and finding these toys scattered in different locations of the house.
Well, sometimes I like to
So
play with
they've had that. They had a
taken out.
doll.
Yeah, you go.
They've had
What
like a
else?
doll
What do
and
you
a
like to play
cradle
with?
that was moved in different parts. So they had these things going on, and so they asked me to come in and do an investigation there, and we did it with a couple of people from Tampa, Florida, Ghost Group. So we decided we spent the night at
Hey,
this
what
place.
was that? What was
There's
that
only
ghost
3
group
of
called,
us.
sir? What was that ghost group called, man? Hey, what were they called?
The house.
Say the name of
the ghost group investigating
the ghost hunting group.
the ghost hunters. Yeah.
Oh, they're from Tampa, and I don't know if it was just called Tampa Paranormal. This was a while back. I'd have to look it up. I think it's just Tampa Paranormal, but I'm not certain about that. There's only 2 of them, and there was just me. But we did this investigation overnight, and we did kind of a low key one. We didn't have a lot of high tech stuff. It was mostly just cameras and things like that. But the funny thing is, we went to this house, and it was dark. We kept all the lights off and everything. And as soon as we closed the door and settled in for the night, that house got quiet. Now, you say, well, of course it got quiet. I mean, you were sitting there quietly in the dark and everything else. Yeah, okay. But right across the street from this place was a biker bar. And, I mean, that place was jumping. You opened the door, and there were bikes going up and down the street. There was music coming out of there. It was, like, loud. The minute you closed the door, this house was quiet. And one of the people that was with us was the kind of, I'll call her a supervisor there. I don't know what you would call her, but she was like the person that ran the museum and stuff. And she was walking around, and she said, man, it was like an unusual quiet. It was just like really, really still and very quiet. And she felt nervous. She said, this isn't right. It doesn't feel right. So we sat there, and we went into different rooms and everything, and really nothing was happening. About 4 o'clock in the morning, again, something like that, we finally said, this has been really quiet and kind of strange, but nothing's going on here. So she was disappointed, and she said, there's always all this activity. The minute I have somebody come into an investigation, everything quiets down. I said, yeah, well, whatever. I wasn't thinking anything was happening. So we decided that was it. We were just going to close up the investigation. Nothing was happening. So we packed up our cameras and stuff like that. And now we had to set the alarm for the building. So we went around and we set the doors and everything, which meant that the only door we can exit out was through the back, through the kitchen. So we're walking through this kitchen. Now there's only 3 of us, and we're walking single file because we didn't do such a good job with equipment. We had like one flashlight. And so there's 3 of one flashlight, right? And so we go by this.
Did you bring extra batteries?
A wood-burning stove.
Igor, shut up.
Stove in the kitchen that we're walking by, and it's got on the cover, on the top of it, on the lid. And the thing is iron. It's got a cast iron hook that's about a foot long and probably weighs, I don't know, maybe close to 3/4 of a pound, something like that. So as we go by, all of a sudden this hook, which is laying flat on the surface of the stove, it rises up and it flips over. It does a 180. But it does it really fast and really hard with violence. I mean, it lifts up fast and it slams down on the lid so hard that it then actually pops off and lands on the floor.
So that's...
And the 3 of us, the 3 of us.
So it could have hurt someone, you're saying.
We had no idea. I mean, this thing, like I said, it was close to, a foot long and almost 3/4 of a pound cast iron, and it did it all by itself. And we stopped and we said, was there any way that we did that? Can we have moved that or something else? And we said, well, no, it was laying flat on the stove. All 3 of us saw it happen. Of course, we had all our gear, our cameras and everything else packed up. We're almost out the door, right? And this thing happened. But it was so dramatic and so forceful and so violent. I've never had anything like that happen. People talk about things moving on an investigation or something. This was major. I don't know if it's scary or not. I mean, man.
No, yeah. Did you see it happen at the time, or did it just make that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We were walking, we were walking with the flashlight, and we could see, just as we got by it in the flashlight, we could see in the light that this thing lifted up, and we saw it do it, and we heard it do it, and we felt it fall on the floor by our feet. So,
it had to be so loud, awesome. It probably scared the crap out of you.
It'll scare the crap out of me, man.
Just the noise alone. I mean, the cast iron rod flipping over, doing 180, and slamming down on a steel lid on the top of a stove. That makes some noise.
Hey, man, I gotta go, man. I'm gonna get some cheeseburgers, man. I'm out of here, guys. Okay. Y'all, I'll see you there, y'all.
Bye, Elvis.
Bye, Ghost Elvis. I'm not Elvis. I'm a Ghost Elvis. A little
Ghost
different.
Elvis.
Gotcha.
Ghost Elvis. Man. So he is dead.
I'm just Ghost Elvis, man.
Go search the internet for more things.
All right, man. Because Wolfman's here anyway, man. He's here.
Cool.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Hey, man. What's up, man? Can you dig it? All right, I am the Wolfman. I'm back. I am back. All right. Groovy. Fantastic. We are on KTLK Digital Network. Can you dig it, man? TheFringe.fm. This is where all the freaks hang. The real freaks hang out, baby. Yeah, can you dig it? Groovy. Yeah, Wolfman's back, man. So, while I was transformed and running around in the forest, I actually missed what happened. So you don't have to fill me in, but where
there
are
was
we
a
at?
loud noise when they were leaving this place, and it was caused by the stove, the metal part of the stove. So, did you guys stay the rest of the night, or did you guys just keep leaving?
No, good question, right? Now we stayed a little bit longer because we tried to recreate that. First of all, what happened is, if you've been on an investigation like that, people always say, "Oh man, aren't you afraid?" And I say, "Well, the first reaction that you have isn't fear. It's more like, holy cow, did you see that? I mean, your first reaction is more amazement than anything else. Later on, you might say, oh man, that was really creepy. But the first thing is, it's like, wow, that was awesome. So we stayed there because it was so dramatic. We thought maybe something would happen again, but we also tried to recreate that. Like I said, we picked up the rod, we put it back on the stove, we walked around it a little bit. We said, okay, was it laying like this? Was there anything? Could we have done that? Could we have knocked it off or anything? But that wasn't what happened. The thing flipped up on the stove and slammed down on it. There's no way that we could have flipped it up. I mean, it was
heavy.
Physically impossible for us to have done that.
Wow.
So yeah, so we
That's
stayed
cool.
a little bit longer, and then we said, well, that was it. And actually, the superintendent,
That's
supervisor
harder
said,
to debunk.
Remember, the little girl's name was Jessie.
But
She said, well, we didn't see Jessie there tonight, but I guess she was just going to say goodbye and let us know that she was
Okay.
here. So,
That one is harder to.
Okay.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to debunk that. There is a way to do that. You can put different kinds of gases together and whatever. It creates a chemical reaction, and all of a sudden releases a whole bunch of air, and it could have caused. You could have set that up with, or a compressor, and then filling up a tube, and then just blasting the air into that pot from a valve in the bottom, and make it look like that. There is ways to debunk that.
well, yeah, I suppose, except that it was it's an antique, non-functioning, uninstalled stove. I mean, it's just, it's sitting there as if it was a real kitchen, but nothing is working. This is all antique stuff.
I thought you meant it was a pot on the stove.
Oh, no. This is a wood-burning stove.
Oh,
So-
one of those. Okay, well, and one of the lids that are on for cooking in. I know what you're talking
Exactly. Well, actually, it's the lid that you lift up to throw more wood inside. When you need more wood. So it was like a big round metal, big steel kind of disc.
about. Yeah,
And
you
attached
can
to
also
that-
you can also
Was
use
the
those.
rock.
I used to have a stove like that, and you take that off, and that's where you set your wok. Build a nice fire, and that's where you set your wok. Right in that whole round hole.
Okay.
Oh man, does it taste good? That's where you do your stir fry like that, man. That is the best stir fry you'll ever taste. I'm
we
a
have
big
any
fan
stir
of.
fry.
I'm a big fan of smoke. I smoke everything. Like smoke my meats. I love smoking things. But if you want smoky tasting Chinese food, that's how you do it. You make it. That's how you do it. You do it over one of those things you're talking about that flipped up. So maybe the ghost was thinking it's time for some Chinese food, man.
She was cooking Chinese. Well, she didn't offer us anything. That was pretty rude.
Do you think it was the girl, or do you think it was the mother?
I don't know. I mean, that was a pretty dramatic thing. She died. Jessie died when she was 3. So if ghosts maintain sort of their age at the time or whatever, I don't know if they do or not, then I would think it'd be pretty dramatic for her to do. Could have been the mother, but they also have seen the figure of a guy in a military uniform, but not as often as Jessie. So I don't know. I just
Did
know
they
what
say what
happened.
type of military
You know?
uniform? What war? John,
Yes.
did you hear me?
I.
What kind
Yeah.
of military uniform was the ghost in?
Oh,
Did
they
they say
say it looks like a world. They said it looks like maybe a World War One Army uniform. They have a room set up at the museum that has some memorabilia from military service of different times, and they said they see him up in that room. It looks like World War One. People have actually called the police saying there's somebody up there, and the police have come in and haven't found anybody.
Oh. The lady that worked there, does she look alone? Or does she get scared?
Hey, man.
Is she well? Well, I mean, the thing isn't open at night. This was special. I mean, they opened up just for us. She's the one that invited us in to do the investigation. So it's only open during the day, and during the day there's usually 2 or 3 people there, and then people from the public come in. There's different events held there sometimes, and just people visiting. So it doesn't seem like things happen during the day. It seems like when they come in the morning, they find evidence like stuff moved around and stuff from the night before. But during the day, they seem to be okay about it. And she doesn't. She really is not afraid of it. I mean, she just thinks that, well, these are people that live here. This is their house, and as long as they're not harming her in any way or anything, she's okay about it.
How often does this stuff get moved around in the middle of the night?
I don't know. It's happened a couple times. I wouldn't say it happens like, every night or anything, but there's been at least three occasions probably over a course of maybe a year or something where it's happened. But these are big cast iron, like not like trucks, but like trains and things like that.
Well,
toys that are.
I want to tell you, I want to get back to that stove. I'm still debunking it. It could have been a downdraft. I used to live in a country house, and you get these downdrafts that come right down through the chimney, and it'll blast air up, and it will throw the damn thing out like that. I just thought of it.
Yeah.
It's happened to me before, but that was a downdraft.
I don't think the chimney wasn't hooked up, though, was it?
No, that's what I was going to say. No, this is just a kitchen that is supposed to be set up kind of like an old Victorian era, but things aren't necessarily perfect, including the stove, which was just kind of sitting there. I mean, it wasn't attached to anything. There wasn't any, it's not working. It wasn't attached to any kind of vents or anything else like that. It was just sitting there by itself.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it. I think.
It was amazing. I mean, we checked it out. I don't know. I'm kind of a skeptical person myself. I check everything as much as possible, and I didn't see anything that looked like something rigged up or anything else like that.
Okay.
It wasn't.
I tried
like
debunking it for Stabby. I tried my best.
Okay.
For the sake of Stabby, and there's no skeptic here, I'm gonna have to take the stance. It was fun too. I like doing that. I think I would do that more often. I'll take the skeptic side. That's cool.
There you go.
I should do that more often. It's kind of cool. And anyways, we're where are we right now? Yeah, we're right at the top of the hour. So
at the witching hour.
Are you gonna? I'm gonna play something funny, and I don't know if you want to stick around for a while with us. You're welcome to, John. Otherwise, everyone. We gotta say goodbye because that's your 2 hours.
Well, I appreciate the time, but I think it's time for me to get my beauty sleep.
All right, I was just reminding you in case it was something important.
I don't want to be an ugly ghost.
Before can you talk about your books real quick?
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, the first thing is I recommend to check my website out, which is easy enough. It's www.johnkachuba.com.
John Kachuba. Hang on, you're breaking up. Let me say it. It's johnkachuba.com. www.johnkachuba.com.
Yes, sir.
Or is it just J?
No, you can use John.
Yeah, okay. Either way, Jake.
J
Gate,
gets
and
you
it-
there too. Either
yeah,
one will
it's-
get you there.
It's spelt just like it sounds. Kachuba with a K.
Yep, like a
You
sneeze.
have 5 books that are all about. They're all about those experiences in
Right.
different
Yeah, there's a-
states.
Yep, there's a books tab on that page, and my ghost books are there as well as my other books. And they've been available in bookstores, but some of them are a couple of years old now. But they're all on Amazon and everything else too. So people can go there and get a description of the books, what they're about, and hopefully pick them up. I also have a blog on there called Physical Traveler. And there's some interesting stories on that.
Just
some
when
of my
you're trying to
experiences
plug
in
your
different
stuff, man,
countries
Skype
and-
fucks up. Right when you're trying to tell you the name of your stuff, you might have to repeat that. It was all jumbled. I'll throw on the air. Yeah.
So the blog on my webpage is called Metaphysical Traveler. And there's a lot of interesting stories there from my experiences as well as some guest bloggers too. So it's a cool thing to take a look at.
That's groovy, man. Fantastic. And thank you so much, sir, for
It
coming
is.
on the show.
Thank you guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
And
to
if
be
you
here.
want to come back, I'll book another day with you for sure, man.
That'd
And,
be cool.
John.
Watch out for those shadow people.
and shout out to KTLK Network, the Fringe.fm too, man. And Joe Roop and Dave Cruz from Beyond the Strange, the other shows. And I keep forgetting the name of there is a daytime show that is really groovy too, and I can't remember, but I'm sure that Joe's gonna post it. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys with the Willie rant because this one is very popular with you. He is all. So we're gonna do that, and then I heard that I was thinking, man, I might just get Ghost Elvis to come and sing us some songs, man. What do you think afterwards, Darren?
I'll talk to you when the music's on.
All right, man. Okay, groovy. Anyways, we will be back shortly. Thank you very much for listening to Monster Castle Paranormal Radio, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Cushion eject. Does your cassette mechanism make a terrible sound like this when you open it? Well, we got something better for you. We got Cushion Eject today. We could get something. Your tape deck will come out. It won't sound like this. It won't make any funny sounds like that when it pops out. It will be slow and smooth. Cushion Eject is the best in ejection mechanisms for any tape cassette. And we can install Cushion Eject today. Use code KTEL. KTEL International. All right. KTEL.com/Cushion Eject. All right. Cushion Eject. More cushion for the pushing, baby. Yeah. More cushion for the pushing with Cushion Eject. All right.
If I could just say something. It's like a big bully is what you are, Wolfman. You're defending the Cushion Eject? I would literally beat your ass right now, Wolfman. The fuck? You make me all sad. Back when I was a kid, man, I was so happy when I got a damn boom box. One of them big things that had 2 speakers on the side. I put it on my shoulder and I throw out the cardboard and try to act like I was breakdancing. And then I got showed up by these little bastards come up there and they got the same boombox, but it's got, when they press eject, it's got Cushion Eject. When I pressed my eject, the tape just shot out. Theirs came out slowly. And they had other things to adjust the treble, the bass, the left to right speaker for the mono speakers. But it all sounded fucking same. And they're sitting there screwing with their shit for 30 fucking minutes. When I could put a tape in, I could press play, and I could play dance, and I could stop it. I could eject the tape, and it would fly out there, and I could change another fucking beat. And these jackasses over here messing with their cushion eject and their treble bass line. Fuck you guys. That's what you're doing, man. You're fucking the slave to the fucking technology. You're buying into this bullshit. If you had any fucking brains, if you had any old school in you could do it like we used to do it. Just press play. Enjoy the eject button. It shoots the shit out. You don't need the cushion eject. You lost your old school. You turn into Britney fucking Spears here. It'd besmirching your name. Call yourself Wolfman. You fucking sell out, and you make all these excuses for bullshit reasons for your cushion eject. I go back to the town in Oklahoma where I was at. If I see those little cushion eject bastards, I'll beat their ass. Those bitches that had the cushion eject, and they see people look down at me like I was lower class. You son of a bitch up in your high horse with your cushion eject. It's convenient now that you're a grown man that you can afford to not buy the fucking cushion eject, but you laugh at us, the people that didn't have it. I wish this time you wouldn't have taken my damn call. I was just starting to like you too, damn it, Wolfman.
She was a groovy baby from the fourth dimension. Did I forget to mention her thing? She could sing with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice that would sound like angels coming from the sky. She could sing. She could sing. She was a groovy little baby with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice. That's right, all right, dig it, yeah, from the Wolfman. Sing it out now, yeah. Here we go. Groovy little baby from the fourth dimension. Did I forget to mention one thing? She could sing. Groovy little baby with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice that is. She could sing like an angel coming from the sky. She could sing. Groovy baby with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice that is, yeah, come from the sky. You're here with Dave Cruz and Wolfman Mike, and please listen to our new network,
KTLK DB The Fringe.fm.
All right, everybody, come on out and listen. And we're going to have a lot of fun now because we all joining forces. All right. And this is going to be where the disclosure comes from. Yeah. It's where all the freaks hang out. Tune in for Monster Castle Paranormal. You gonna stop that? With the Wolfman. Stop it. Okay. Midnight, when the moon is full. Yeah. Fridays and Saturdays. So it's midnight here. Eastern Standard Time. If you're in Pacific, it would be 9 o'clock. Tune in. Castle Paranormal. KTLK Network, the Fringe.fm.
It's driving me nuts.
I thought I heard Art Bell in there. Did you hear that, Darren?
I did. He's complaining.
That was weird, man.
I don't think he liked the song.
Maybe. I don't know. It wasn't a song, was it? Hey, why don't we get Ghost Elvis? Man,
bring him back out of the cellar.
Let's get Ghost Elvis. He's here. No, he's here. He's here. Yeah.
He's right here? Okay, good.
Yeah, I've been here the whole time, man. I'm just hanging out, man.
You eating some bacon?
No, I'm eating a cheeseburger, man.
Are you done eating?
Yeah, I already had cheeseburgers, like Ghost cheeseburger.
Nice. You feel like singing a song?
Yeah, man, I'm groovy, man. I'll do that. Yeah, right on, man. I'm the king, man. Ooh, yeah, I'm the king. Ooh, I'll sing something for you.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Well, I'll find something for you, baby. All right. Let's find a song for Ghost Elvis to sing. All right. Wolfman's got all kinds of groovy karaoke's here, man. All right. I can pull up almost any Elvis song you want, man. What do you want to hear? Hang on. Where is it? Dang. Oh. Where is it? I gotta keep looking here, man. I thought it was right there, and it's not there. What the hell? Song. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Do you have Jailhouse Rock? That's a good one. Or Suspicious Minds.
Yeah, that's groovy, man.
Yeah. You can do it.
I was thinking about why don't I do a scary one, man? I want to find a scary one. Yeah, because it's Ghost Elvis, right? So, like Wooden Heart.
Yeah, it's a spooky night.
I think Wooden Heart is scary because if you had a wooden heart, that's freaky, man. All right. I'll check out Elvis, and we'll see what kind of scary ones we got, man. Who knows a scary Elvis song, man? Oh yeah, baby. Ooh. I think Wooden Heart, man. Let's try that. That's not really scary, but I'll make it scary, all right? We'll make it a scary Elvis. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Let's see what we can do here.
Right on. Can you dig it? We have Ghost Elvis. He has selected a song.
Hello. Please don't break my heart. It's not hard to do, 'cause I don't have a wooden heart. You say goodbye, you know that I would cry. Maybe I would die, but I don't have a wooden heart. There's no string upon this love of mine. It was always you from the start. Dream at night, treat me good, treat me like the way you should. 'Cause I'm not made of wood, and I don't have a wooden heart. Well, yeah, it's good. So long, hello. It's crazy. Who's it staying late out? Staying late out. Soon I will shine peace right here. There's no strings of all this love of mine. It was always you from the start. So make it, set me, what
Stop laughing. Who's somebody laughing at me? Holy shit, what is that? I'm a king, baby. Shit.
Far out, man. Dig it, all right. Come on, man. Give this guy a hand, man. Come on. Ghost Elvis, all right. Ooh, yeah. Groovy, man. That was Ghost Elvis.
Where do you think Elvis is?
It's right there in your studio.
That's Ghost Elvis. Yeah, man.
I think he's in Graceland.
Jeannie Shaw says in the chat room, I don't know, but he gave me away at my Vegas wedding.
He's in Vegas.
Man, there's something going on here outside the hotel I'm in.
What's
It's
going on?
loud, man.
Is there a party?
Oh yeah, it's the what do you call it? It's Stampede Ranch night, and all the young kids are going down dancing, line dancing down. It's huge. They come from all over to go to this thing. And I guess this is the hotel they stay at, and it is rowdy out there, man.
You were lucky to get a room.
Yeah, because we had one from the night before. We just kept it. Yeah.
Right.
So we got it. Yeah, it was groovy, man. But I had my window open and I'm doing this radio show and they're looking in.
I wonder what you're doing.
Yeah, they could see I'm doing a radio show. It's pretty obvious.
That's too
And
bad
you
you
see
should
all the
interview someone.
screens
That'd be
around
fun.
me and they can hear me talking and I got the headphones on. They're all freaked out. This guy's doing a live broadcast right here and they're all partying outside and looking in my window. It's pretty groovy, man.
You should go grab one of them. See if they'll tell you, what
I
the thing's
can't-
all about.
My wife's sleeping right behind me, man. Sandra's right behind me sleeping.
Man, how could she sleep with all that music?
She's used to me talking all night long.
Joking.
She's so used to me talking all night long, it doesn't even bother her. Well, sometimes, but
Yeah.
she's putting up with it.
Good.
Yeah, she's a
Did
good
you
girl.
find a place to live?
Well, we're staying at a friend's house. He's giving us a nice room for now, and I put all of Sandra's stuff. I don't have much stuff. I just have music stuff and instruments. I don't carry furniture around. I'm just kind of like a hippie. I just have sound equipment and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe somebody will hear us and will offer you a really nice place to rent. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Oh, Jeannie, she wants Ghost Elvis to sing "Love Me Tender." I think.
Oh,
she
that would be good.
walked me down the aisle while singing "Love Me Tender."
Oh,
Now I
let's
wonder if
do
she's
it.
talking about the real Elvis or like that's what was playing when she walked down the aisle. I'm not quite sure I follow her.
In Vegas, they have lots of Elvises.
Okay, yeah. Oh, there was a movie once where a whole bunch of them were parachuting, wasn't? What was that? Remember that?
All the Elvis impersonators?
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
got real
I
rowdy.
can't remember
and-
what that was.
Yeah, and they came in from the sky and then took over the whole operation. A whole bunch of ghost Elvises.
How long were you an Elvis impersonator?
To be honest with you, I started doing that when I was 6 years old.
Yeah. Did you get paid to do it though?
No, I never really did that professionally. No.
Oh, okay.
I just karaoke.
Right. You carried around a karaoke machine to bars and stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, karaoke's huge here, man. For a while it was anyway. It's kind of not so big anymore, but for a while it was huge.
And how long did you have to go up there for? Was there ever a night where no one came up and sang and you just had to sing all night?
Oh yeah, the people are a lot. Like there's a group that sings, and we all hang out together. It's always like that. In any karaoke bar, there's this people that sing. They sort of end up sitting at the same table together, and then they talk about which song are you going to sing, which song are you going to sing. make sure that everyone don't sing the same song or pick one, because it screws you up. Somebody else just sings a song you picked right before you. So you end up sitting together and discussing and give each other ideas what would sound good with your voice. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, actually.
Do you try to sing your best, or do you try to sing crappy so that the people would come up there and will outdo you?
Oh, no. Everybody tries their best, man. Everybody always tries their best.
Who would be in your wheelhouse for doing impersonations of or karaoke for?
Well, I do a pretty good Neil Diamond too, and Joe Cocker. There's a lot of them I can do.
I would love to hear a Neil Diamond song.
And
you better do "Love Me Tender" first, though.
Okay, I'll do it. You're talking me into it. But that's not me. That's Ghost Elvis doing it.
Yeah.
We'll see,
you should have Igor singing an Elvis song. I mean, that'd be interesting.
How about we get Igor to come sing Love Me Tender?
He can sing the first verse.
I don't know. That one's so slow, and you know what? I don't even want to do that one. It's really.
All right.
If I got to do it, I'll do it. She didn't really say she wanted me to do it. She just said that he sang that one when.
Oh, okay.
When they went down the aisle, I think I should do something else. Totally.
Neil Diamond.
That'd be fun. I wonder how legal this is. I'm doing karaoke on the air. But I'm just doing it for myself.
Jeannie says she doesn't need to hear it.
All right.
We should put some requests in here.
No, we can't. We're not allowed. No, we're not allowed to do that. No, it's against the rules. Because then people could just, request a song and then record it right away.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? That's just broadcasting rules that I'm just starting to learn. Since we're on a network, I have to obey that. Now, I don't think there's nothing wrong with me picking a random karaoke song, which I have the rights to, and then I'm not sure, but I think it's all right. We'll find out. I'll find out really sure
tomorrow.
when Joe phones me and says, "Wolfman, what the fuck are you doing, man? You fucking idiot, man! What the fuck are you doing? I'm gonna lose my license, you fucking idiot." Yep. You don't have a budget that big. Oh no, but you better start donating so we do get a budget that big. Go to monstercastleparanormal.com and donate today. And yep, okay. This is okay. I was searching the wrong one.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hang on. Well, Neil Diamond. I'll just punch it in and I'll look for one. Oh yeah, Cracklin' Rosie. I Am, I Said. Neil. There's gonna be more. Those are just the first ones that popped up. Okay. I think Cracklin' Rosie's pretty cool. You want me to do that one? Or I could do Sweet Caroline, or I could do Desiree.
Oh, those are good.
I wonder what the kids outside partying are going to think of this.
I don't know.
Why is it my feed, Sam? Okay. Okay, Joe's telling me right now some of the rules. You're good, just don't say what it is until you start it. So as the music is starting, you can say what it is. I get it. Okay. But you can't take requests. Now, that makes sense. Then that's why they always start the song and then they introduce it that way. I get it now. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Tom Jones? Yeah, I could probably do that.
Hey, that's a request. You have to start it before.
No, I'm not allowed to do
What
the
if it comes in?
requests.
What if it comes into the chat though? It's not on the air. How do they
If
know?
I just pick it out of the chat randomly, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that as long as I don't say I'm going to do this song and then do it.
Oh my God, I'd love to hear What's New Pussycat.
Does he do spinning wheels too? Spinning wheel, got to go round. Oh, there's a few of his I like. Yeah. Hang on, I gotta update this thing right here, man.
Did you ever hear the Tom Mulaney? He's the comedian that talked about playing What's New Pussycat like 7 times in a row at the cafe, and everyone was going crazy. So funny.
Yeah, man. I gotta update things all the time.
I guess you got to surprise us and just pick something and then tell us what it is after you start it. Then we're abiding by the rules.
Yeah, man. I did it. Okay, good. Okay, let's see what I'm gonna do. Kneel down. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh, that's right. I can't announce it until I gotta get used to this. It's easier if I, you know, like I'm just doing this off the cuff, and I'm trying to pick a good one. I'm gonna have to type it right in, the whole thing, because it's not coming up. I think I have it. Okay. I'm gonna go by song name. That didn't work either. Aha! Now I found it by song name. Nice. All right. This is Neil Diamond, Desiree. It was the 3rd of June, on that younger day. Well, I became a man at the hands of a girl almost twice my age. But she came to me, it's like the morning sun. It wasn't the much, so words as such as the way they were sung. It was the way they were sung. Desiree, my Desiree, there I was found by the sweet passion sound of your loving song. Time was right and the night was long. Remember Desiree, somehow I knew I could only have you till the morning light. If only for that single night. Sweet Desiree, you made it right. June, on those sleepless nights, well, I tossed and I turned while the thought of you burned up and down my spine. She was there and gone, without one regret. But she continues on like the words of a song I could never forget. Oh, I could never forget. Desiree, Desiree, there I was found by the sweet passion sound of your loving song. Time was right and the night was long. Remember Desiree, oh Desiree, there somehow I could only have you till the morning light. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. It's almost he says Joe says it's almost worth the fine to hear that shit, man. All right, groovy.
God. Can you imagine getting fined over that?
I don't know. I know the one that you have to have the actual CD for every karaoke that you play in a bar. When I used to do karaoke, I know that rule. But over the radio, I have no idea. I don't, because people don't do that. They don't play karaoke on the radio, but I just did. That's worth the fine. It was worth every damn cent. Oh, please, God, don't do that again, he says now. No, I meant not to hear it. Please, God, don't do that again. Oh, no, he's okay. If you pay me a certain amount per week, I'll never do it again. Done. Yeah, you gotta you gotta pay me to shut up the wolf man. And I gotta do an ad like that, eh? Like, didn't I do one like that before? I forgot to. Yeah, I have it somewhere where I said that if you donate to the station, that I won't interrupt people anymore. As a matter of fact, I'll just shut up and go ghost hunting while you guys do the show.
I think that's when we got our biggest donation ever, right?
Yeah.
Should do that again.
Yeah, man.
Who do we got coming for next weekend?
Oh, wow. There's a good question. I will find out for you right now, sir. If you give me 1 second. And while we're doing the 1 second thing.
Joe said, no deal.
Yeah. While we're doing 1 second thing, I'll make some noise, I think.
So we can't take any callers? Or can we?
I believe it would probably screw things up. We can try it. But I think it would... Well, it's working pretty good right now, so I don't know. We could try it.
Which one am I on? Which computer or number do they have to call to get on the other one?
You gotta go to 990. No, I don't even. Man, here, I'll find it. It's 775-990-8447. I'm not in my studio, so I don't have my postings up around me. I'm used to these. I have little things that I tape on the wall. That when you lose your train of thought, it's like little cues. Yeah, we could call Willie. Hey, you know who we should call? Let's call Reverend John Polk and see what he's doing.
Yeah, try to.
Let's see if I can add him. Reverend John. I got God of Thunder on here. You think he'll answer?
I don't know.
Let's see. I've never talked to him in person. Let's try it. Nothing to lose. Maybe Joe wants to come on and tell us about some of his stuff. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he could tell us the rules.
Joe Roop, I'd like to hear some of your knowledge about the arcane and strange arts. Love that. I would love to hear that. Where did he go, Reverend John Polk? I have to. I'm gonna have to. I can't find it. I'm gonna have to search for it. I always find it. I don't know why it doesn't show up in my thing. Yeah, I got it already. He's got two. He may be online. Add to group. He's already. Oh, I can add him in. I just added Reverend John. We'll see if he answers.
We can always add Scummy.
Oh, no, he's not online. Oh, Scummy's right there. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Mr. Scummy. Let's see what he's doing. But don't ever sing karaoke on the air again when Joe's listening. That was the rule, right? If he's not in the chat room, I can do it though, right? The ghost professor has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. And we are...
He's on for...
Yeah, we're taking calls right now if anyone wants to call in. That is on 775-990-8447. I think...
Please call somebody.
I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying to call people. I'm going to keep trying to bug people. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to try to get Yuck Nasty on. That sounds like the wolves are going a little nuts in the in the yard around the castle today, man. Yeah. No, I don't think it's easy answering that. Yeah, there's some were-monkeys that were circling the castle today. Oh, I think they're out there right now. Yeah, we could get Igor to sing that song, though.
That would be interesting. I'd like to hear that.
I don't know if I could do that, man, to tell you the truth. I've never used that voice to sing with before.
I could try it. That'd be hilarious.
I think it'd be terrible. Not very listenable. It'd be funny.
What the heck? We could have Father Guido sing a song.
No. That was just I just wanted Ghost Elvis on to sing one. But I think that's enough of that. You know what we could do? We could do...
What?
I got a great idea. This is that game we made up where you name that song.
Oh, it'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll monitor the chat.
All right. I'm going to pull some of those up right now. And
all right.
I do remember how to get to them. Let's see. I got to put something on for a second here. Did I do Donation Station yet? I don't think so.
I don't think so
we got
either.
a caller. Groove. Oh, but it's going to put you on hold, Darren. Can I let Mark?
That's fine.
Can
That's fine.
Okay. Oh, no. It dropped. Oh, wow. Add to group. Okay, there. Skype worked for me. Don't tell me this. Okay, it just dissolved everything. Well, okay. I know what to do with this one. Definitely close this crap and put a song on. I have something here. And then, okay, I'll try to get these callers on. Here we go.
All right.
Wow.
Hey, Wolfman.
What's going on, buddy?
Not too much. Hey, Darren. There in the dark.
He's not. He had to drop in order to take your call because I don't have.
Oh, for real? Oh,
yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
all
I didn't mean
right.
to plug the line.
That's okay, and because I don't have a good bandwidth here, and it would have just made us all garbled.
Oh, I see. So you can only have yourself and another individual?
Yeah, and I had to use two computers to do that.
Oh, goodness.
One doing the Skype on one computer, one doing Skype on another, and I linked it through my mixing board. Otherwise, it wouldn't. That's just the only way to add two
Willie
people.
says I'm driving.
Yeah, what?
Driving what?
And who are you driving?
Yeah.
Somebody crazy?
Well, there's a picture of a fellow and then this lady. Wonder which one Willie is.
He's driving somebody crazy.
I'm just messing with him. Someone wants to know if they hear wolves. Yeah, that is yes. And someone wants to know if this is a real paranormal show, and the answer to that is yes.
Oh, right on, man.
Of course it is.
We're just having fun right now, though, because the guest left.
Yeah, there's
bit
a whole
early,
library
so this is just anything you want to do.
Paranormal. If they look through your the log.
Oh yeah.
You've got what now? We'll say about 20, 30 shows. There's quite a library of now material.
Yeah, it is actually. I think if I look under my episodes, which including the Dirty Rotten Taro show, and my early attempts at everything, I think there's over 100.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken.
So donate. Every little bit helps, right, Wolfman?
Yeah, right now, especially, guys.
Yeah, $5, $10.
whatever you can
it's
do,
really,
man.
really appreciated. Like if you're listening to us,
I got
then,
to set up a new studio. Yeah, and I got to set
You
up
know.
new internet and everything, and
you know, like maybe a Starbucks coffee. Like do without one Starbucks coffee. There's your $5. You know.
I don't know, whatever you think it's worth a month.
Whatever
for
you
listening.
can, you know, like it's really, really appreciated, you know, because I certainly enjoy the program and the karaoke. Well, that's out for debate, but
I just had to. I was filling time there, man.
I think it was just the wrong
thought,
song. I think.
You know,
I think it's just the wrong.
Ghost
You
Elvis.
have to. Like Joe Cocker would probably be
No,
a
you
little
know-
better for you at this time of night, rather than trying to hit the
no.
higher notes.
What it is I'm trying not to sing too loud, and that's
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
I can't give her. You know, I can't just belt it out, and that
Right,
just
right, right.
that makes
Yeah,
it.
yeah, of course, you've
so
got
I was
neighbors,
I was
yes.
being suppressed. Basically, my voice was being suppressed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would probably get in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was one scientific note I might want. Michio Kaku was on Fox Science News, and he was asked where he would spend his money on, and he says there's a way for us to actually cross the galaxy and you know, go 35 or 40 years away. And he said it can be done through lasers and something about the size of a cigarette pack. And we can somehow, through the use of lasers, we can actually, you know, in 20 years, you know, be in somebody else's neighborhood is what he. In any event, I'll list it again, but I put it on my on the Twitter.
Okay,
It's,
thanks.
Michio
Groovy.
Kaku. And
Wow.
it's a short article, but it's really, really cool.
Oh, I'm glad you phoned in because we were actually just kind of stumped when he told us 2 hours. We didn't plan anything, so it was like, oh, what are we gonna do? But I said, well, fuck, we got to get Ghost Elvis.
Oh, your
to
guest
sing.
was supposed to be on for 3.
Well, we just didn't know that. I forgot. I completely forgot till the start of the show, and then we were just didn't have a plan for that. So we just kind of
Right.
we're just kind of winging it. You can always go to take calls, but I found out. Oh, by the way, I found out how many episodes it's listed in Spreaker that I have 122 episodes. I can't hardly believe that myself, but that's what it says. But if I was to actually count up, that's what it says, man.
Wow.
122.
That's way cool.
And
That's way
I
cool.
haven't
Oh,
even
yeah, actually,
been-
Wolfman, on speaker, like to send a message to you on speaker. Is there a send button? Like this is all new to me, but like I'm on speaker and I see the live chat, and it says write your comment here. You do.
I think
but
you
then
just
is
press
there a
enter.
Send button or
enter. I think. I don't know.
enter on your computer. Oh, okay. Shit.
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay, well, listen, I just wanted to call you and appreciate your show, and I really appreciate Darren. He's got such a good, inquisitive mind, you know. And,
I can't do
and,
without him. I can't do without him
plus
sometimes.
he has that. He's got that voice of his. You can certainly know when Darren's talking, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So you can really, he really stands out. Where's Jeff the Great tonight, if you don't mind me asking? He was not available.
His one of his coworkers actually died, and he had to take the shift. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Okay, well, listen, again, thank you for the show, and I'll be sure to donate, and I hope others do, and I'll let Darren or somebody else come back on, Wolfman.
I think you should let someone else.
I appreciate you, and I love you, my brother.
You were my biggest fan, buddy, and you've really supported us a lot already.
I try to do what I can.
Yeah, for sure, and we really appreciate it, man. We're gonna keep trying to entertain you the best we can.
And you are So thank you very much, and have a good night. We'll be
how
listening
about how about you ask me from one of my experiences? You must have a question about something strange that happened to me. Since we got the time.
You've got so many. Like the only experience myself I've had is I've seen a ghost. That I'm pretty sure it was a ghost. It was a black object. It had no feet, no head. It was just like a black object, maybe about I don't know, shoulder high, maybe about 2 feet, round, black, and it just crossed my field of vision really, really quickly. Like it was moving, like it didn't want to be seen. Like I felt like it got caught off guard, and it didn't expect me to walk in anyway, this thing went right across the room, and I went, whoa, that's certainly different. And it was about 2:30 in the morning, so I'll tell you, I lied down in bed, and then I thought about what I just seen, and no shit, I could feel the bottom of the bed start to sag a little bit, and I thought to myself, wow, I'm not going to look over here because I'm just too freaked out and I'm tired, and you know what? As long as I don't feel something grabbing me, my leg, like I am not going to look over. And all of a sudden, the pressure off the bed lifted up, and that was the end of it. And then the next morning, again, I looked around for, like, am I losing it? Did I see like shadows? So I looked around the apartment. No TV on. The drapes are very, very thick. So there's no street lights. There's no lights emanating from another building. Like we're up on the 6th floor. Like there was just nothing that I could figure out that would cause this thing to happen. I thought it was cool. This happened to me in Vancouver. It happened to me actually at a hotel that was built in about 1920. So there's a lot of history on this building. And the odd thing too is it kept me like the night before that, Wolfman, I had stayed at another hotel, the wife and I, and we wanted to try this hotel because it was from this is in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, but it was from 1894. So that's pretty old, eh? So I figured, maybe I'll see something there. And nothing happened that night, so I let my guard down, and we moved to another hotel that was, again, very old, but not quite as old. And you know what? When you're not expecting it, there's the damn thing. But as far as, like, you have so many that, I mean, that ball that you and your mom witnessed, I like that one because you had another witness.
A lot of my, most of the things I've encountered had
the fact there was another individual there.
Yeah, like actually, most of my stories there was other individuals. There's not the rabbit one. I was alone, Hat Man.
Yeah, but I was one with your mom. Like that one is.
Yeah, that one.
Where that's the ball came through the hallway and it went right through your home.
Did I ever tell you that I used to have recurring dreams when I was a kid of that same fireball in my dream?
No.
And it would give me a nauseous feeling in my stomach. And I would wake up and I would be really sick to my stomach, and I'd go to the washroom and throw up sometimes. And
right. Well, I know I listened to your interview when you were on SOR with Dave Scott, and we learned a lot about your past. So I was fortunate enough to catch that show.
Yeah, that's a great one for.
And that was very gripping. Like it was, actually, somebody who does that for a living, interviews, spoke with you and brought up a lot of.
Yeah, we're gonna end the show very short here. Man, Debbie Daly's in.
Darren is saying to call Willie, but Willie says he's driving. So I don't know if he's still driving.
No,
But anyway, Wolfman, why don't I, in case Curtis or somebody else, one of your other fans, want to call
why
in?
don't you just wait till one of them calls, and then somebody else calls in, then yours will drop. That's what.
Oh, I see. You're waiting for somebody else to call in. Okay.
If someone else calls in, otherwise don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, that's cool enough then.
There's only
I didn't want to bog
there's only
down the
9
line
minutes left, so we can finish the show together, man. I always wanted to do this with you anyway. Actually.
Oh, okay. Cool. But yeah, that's my only claim of fame is just saw the one ghost.
That's a really interesting one, though. Like you said, it almost looked like a solid ball.
Well, yeah, it was like a black. It was black, like a ball, like a cloud, a mist.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
it moved so fast. Like I couldn't, like we were in a hotel room and it was. A fair-sized room. And
you're in a hotel room. Isn't that weird, eh? Everything was about hotel rooms today, man.
Well, again, this place was from 1920. So, and it was on the Vancouver waterfront and English Beach, English Bay, or whatever. So, I mean, like a lot of people used to probably vacation there and fell in love with the place, or, and... No, I did find out through someone that there had been, like we were on the 5th floor. I remember that, and there was some rumor going around with the 6th floor that they had, somebody had seen something on the 6th floor. That was just like a rumor. And I talked to an individual about that. So we were only 1 floor down. From where this happened. Would I stay there again? Yeah, I don't have a problem with staying there again.
Wow, cool. You're brave, eh? I would.
Again, it didn't hurt me.
Did
the pressure on the bed was really weird. Like I'm lying. Like think about this. On 2:30 in the morning, I go to the bathroom, grab some orange juice. We had a little mini fridge, and then I'm just guzzling it right out of the and I'm looking through the doorway. And see this thing just go whoosh. I went, whoa, that's kind of screwed up, like kind of weird. And it's 2:30 in the morning. We had a full day. We played the tourist thing in Vancouver all day long, so we were tired. We were both tired, and I just wanted to get to bed. So, I took my orange juice, saw this thing, went whoa, and then just collapsed on the bed, and. No sooner have I hit the bed, and I'm lying perfectly still, so I'm not like making any waves. It's not a water bed. It's my wife is next to me. She's completely out of it, and I can just feel the pressure on the bed come down. Like I can feel the pressure. I'm going, well, this is weird. And I said, I'm not gonna look, unless this thing grabs me or throws the sheets off the bed, or I don't need any more drama tonight.
Yeah.
So, I just let it be at that, and so it stopped, And then I say the next morning, that's when I did the investigation. That's when I started, looking at this place for, trying to figure out, is there any possible way something else could have caused this? Headlights. I'm going, no, man, we're on the 5th floor. Like headlights don't come up this high.
Oh yeah,
the curtains are
when
really,
Willie
really thick,
when Willie comes driving through your bonfire and he comes up the wall and it drive you crazy right up the wall, then you see the headlights up there. Yeah. Yeah, and
anyway. You didn't know in Hawaii calls it a whistle at night, because when you whistle at night, they think it'll summon the dead. Because one night I happened to be there, and I was with a bunch of friends of mine, and I started whistling, and everybody like, oh, whoa, brother, stop. I'm like, what? I said, no, don't do that. I said, oh, why? And they explained to me that no, it's not cool to whistle. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark. Is Wolfman still there?
Wolfman?
Yeah, I just stepped away for a second.
Okay, I'm gonna. Somebody else is on.
No, you don't.
Wolfman.
You can stay on. You still got that whole Skype line to yourself. Darren's on a different one. Darren's
well,
on a different
the
I almost forgot. I could add him on the other line. And I just realized, well, why am I not adding Darren back on the other line? I'm an idiot.
Stupid Wolfman, you get electrocution for that.
Jesus, Igor, you bastard, man. Get down there and back in your damn dungeon, man. Get down there, you idiot.
Mark, you know
what'd
where
you
else
think
a
of
creepy
the-
place to be
of
is
the ghost
inside a
professor?
mausoleum at night. If you're inside a mausoleum at night and you've got the glow of the red candles and you can hear the shudder of the air vent and it's the stillness in there, and you know it's such an eerie feeling to be in a mausoleum.
Oh, yeah, in the mausoleum. And with the word mausoleum, we
I
bid
think
you
as long as you're
adieu.
respectful, I think they're good with it. Same thing with a cemetery. I think as long as you're respectful, I think you're okay.
I used to hang out in the cemetery, but I was respectful. I was very respectful.
You know, I wouldn't buy a house. I wouldn't buy a house with the cemetery behind the house. I think that would freak out actually it would freak out me. I was going to say the missus, but I think I'd be a little. You know, would you care if there was a cemetery? Well, you probably.
That music is coming, man. That means it's less than
So at
3
3 o'clock, are you taking a break and then going to Terra?
I don't know if I'm going to do it because it's really hard to run it with this bandwidth I got. I mean, we'd only be able to have two
there is
people
something
on.
to be said for that.
And
Well,
I
it's
can't
2:58
really,
a.m.
I can't really go crazy here in the hotel like that time. I'd probably end up getting in shit.
So you can't cut off early. Is that they're pretty stringent about that?
Well, people do have to sleep.
The thing is, I could try to, but I'd be risking getting in trouble.
Get in trouble.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys rest.
Good night, everybody. Well, say goodbye.
Bye, Wolfman. Nice chatting with you.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you so much, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, we love you, man. Cheers. Shout out to Mark and Pepe from DM Talk, dude. Hashtag DM Talk on Twitter. All right. Awesome group of people, man. And that's where we all met. And that's where Wolfman Mike 47 comes from. Hashtag DM Talk from Art Bell's chat room that used to be on his website. But it's not anymore. Stay tuned. Stay tuned on KTLK, TheFringe.fm, Digital Network, TuneIn Radio, iTunes Radio, and TalkStream Live. Oh yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it, about doing a Dirty Rotten Taro. I don't know. What do you think, Darren? Darren.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's muted.
Oh, what do you think? Are we gonna do a Dirty Rotten Taro?
I'm not really up for it. I have to get up early.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for listening. We'll do it next week for sure. I'm sorry for your inconvenience. It's a terrible show, and you shouldn't listen to it anyway.